Welcome to SkyBus Oval for today's Bupa TSL Round 2 clash between Lauderdale and Launceston. I'm Damian Gill, and alongside me is Chris Rowbottom and Cam Brown. Good afternoon, gents.
Yeah, good afternoon, Gilly. Really looking forward to this one. Some spicy comments during the week from the Lauderdale coach, Darren Winter. These two teams don't get on at all. Some incidents that have gone back over the last few years. We're down here at SkyBus Oval. The ground that Lauderdale play so well. It's a fortress down here. Launceston coming off a round 1 loss to Glenorchy at their home deck. They'll be fired up for this one, looking to make amends for getting off to a slow start to season 2019.
Yeah, really excited to watch Lauderdale boys. We know they've been around the mark, haven't they, for the last couple of years. Their list profile in terms of their age demographic and games played looks really well set for a strong season. What hurt them last year was the slow start, wasn't it? But towards the end of the year, they were playing as good a footy as any.
Yeah, absolutely, and they were pretty impressive in the last quarter last week. Were made to work to overcome a pretty plucky young Demon side at North Hobart Oval, but when they really got charging, we saw some of that impressive firepower that we saw a lot in the back end of last year. They can pile on goals quickly, Cam.
I think that's a great call, and that's been part of their make-up over the last few seasons, and it was, I think, something like 9 goals to 2 in the last start against North Hobart, led by Jacob Gilby, who was among the goals for 6 with 6 last week, Rowie, and he's going to be a better player for this, having had a good pre-season last year. We know he was a little bit underdone. Still had some really good games, but really looking forward to seeing how he goes today.
Now, as the siren blares in our ears, we're very close to the scoreboard here at SkyBus Oval. Just have a look at the Lauderdale side. It's very impressive on paper, and they've still got a couple of key movers to come back into this team.
I think we might have a couple of late changes too. I can see Ray Hill out there warming up. He looks to have come in for Anderton, who I can't see at the moment, who's named there in a back pocket. But Anderton, who's not in today, he'll be replaced by Hill, the 2 Hills down back, Francis McGuinness. Trupp, who's new to this team, and Raglioni. That's a pretty good back 6. Sutton Siggins, who was unbelievable in round 1, and Williams across the centre line. Kerenauer, who we know from last year, was electric. Gilby, who kicked the bag in round 1, and Saunders. Burge, who looks to be a real find for Lauderdale.
He's
Elliott
Bryce
and Walsh
Walsh
up forward.
2.0, Sam Burge.
We're going to get them confused today.
Oh, absolutely. B1 and B2.
One wears a 23, one wears a 25. They're both blood nuts, and they both get a heap
Similar
of it.
build, aren't they, too?
Yeah, they're both stocky, solid, both like a goal, both celebrate hard. Yeah, we're going to have a hard time spotting the difference there. You round out the team, Rowie.
Yeah, and one of the best on-ball divisions in the league with Smith, Bell Chambers and Franklin just working in the middle of the ground. So that's going to be really good to watch. Boscott, Heavey, McManus and Marr around out the Lauderdale team on the bench. Some real talent in that team, Brownie.
Yeah, there is. And Bryce Walsh is an interesting one for me too, Rory, because he's coming back from an injury. You know, he would have had a pre-season, but didn't play a lot of footy late last until late in the end of the 2018 season. Got back to some good footy, played well in the finals. The one that was a star for them last year in the middle of the ground, Bell Chambers, pretty sure he won the best and fairest team of the year. Sam Siggins is an interesting return to the footy club, isn't he, having spent some time away at Geelong, now coming back to play with Lauderdale.
Yeah, and interesting the way they deployed him last week, Brownie, as a midfielder. And we know, I guess, the big-bodied and the tall mid is something that's really in vogue in modern footy, but he was a real beast for them last week, and that's a real weapon up the sleeve of Darren Winter.
Let's have a look at the Launceston lineup, and they look pretty good. I like their spine especially, but we'll start from the full-back line. Boyd, Van der Velde, Tuthill, Smith, Conway, Tyrrell. So a bit of a new look back 6 in comparison to last year. We've got Brown, Tim Bristow back in the guts after a few years interstate, and Hodge across the centre line. In fact, we might have a late change, which we'll get to in a second. Gillow, Mitch Thorpe, Taylor, Donnellan, Joby Harper, and Holt, who's named there, but I think he might be a laid out. Isaac Chugg may be replacing him. And then Leadham, Fletcher Seymour, who made the move from Clarence, and Brodie Powerfriman, who is one of the prime movers in the competition. Killerley, Lucas, Miller and Walsh on the bench. Again, another team stacked with talent, and especially that spine. Vandervelde, Conway, Bristow, Thorpe, Harper and Fletcher Seymour as your starting rovers. Pretty impressive.
A lot of change, Brownie, for the boys from Windsor Park, but there's still a lot of quality there.
Look, they were pretty impressive last week. I think their effort was up and about. They are a young team. They were in it right up until three-quarter time against Glenorchy, and Glenorchy in the end with a bit of experience, a 4-1 last quarter, got them over the line. Something to maybe watch for Launceston today. Not a lot of height in that team today, Gilly. We know what Mitch Thorpe can do. Vandervelde, Conway, Joby Harper plays as that mobile tool, but that might be a challenge for them today, if Lauderdale can get it on their terms in the air. Really looking forward to the return of Bristow, who we know is a star, best player in the competition in 2011 from memory, and coming back to the club from East Fremantle. He should be a star of the competition.
Just getting word as well that Robbie McManus is also missing for Lauderdale today. He's going to be replaced in the 22 by Jeremiah Perkins. So a talented player on the sidelines.
That's a blow.
Yeah,
That's
it certainly is.
Played a lot down back last week and was pretty handy, racked up a fair bit of the footy, so that's a big out for Lauderdale. Down here, you'd have to favour them though, wouldn't you, boys? Still got all the key weaponry really in their side. We saw Gilby last week was sensational with 6 goals. He's looking trim and fit, and he's a formidable target for them inside 50, and they've still got those key movers that have played together for years and years now, and they've built a really strong outfit.
I think one of the challenges today, boys, to keep a watch is Mitch Thorpe, because with a young group and playing deep forward, I reckon that's always a bit of a challenge as a playing coach. Nothing like being, I guess, on the midfield, and it's okay when your team is experienced and you can entrust the group, but when you're, I guess, trying to impart some of the tactical nous on the game from full forward, that's not an easy job for anyone to do, particularly when you're an emerging team, a young team, like the Launceston group is this year, Rowie. But what we do know about Mitch is he's very experienced in the coaching caper today.
You see there the Lauderdale huddle. The toss has just been run and done, but I didn't see who won it, so not my best work there. But and there's our names. You'll be hearing from us all afternoon. Damian Gill, myself, Chris Rowbottom and Cam Brown in the experts chair. And we're really looking forward to this tussle because, as we said off the top, these two teams do not like each other. During the week, Darren Winter was asked whether there was bad blood last year between these two sides, and I found it very funny the way he answered. He said, no, not last year. It was a lot earlier than that, and there's been bad blood for a while. So I think it's going to be a feisty encounter.
It's unlike Darren Winter to remember something from years gone by and to just use it to spur on the troops, but it certainly will be interesting, especially at this first bounce, to see if there is any push and shove or any aggressiveness, I suppose, because they do go way back. And no real one incident in particular sort of sticks out over the past 3 years. They're just two teams that go hard at each other. There's been a couple of smaller incidents, some spot fires when they've met each other over the past couple of seasons, and clearly for Darren Winter they've stuck in the mind, and they're going to be remembering them here today at SkyBus Oval.
The new branding of SkyBus, of course, a big sponsor on board. You got to give kudos there to Lauderdale. It looks good emblazoned on their jumpers, I've got to say. And
there's just signage everywhere down here. You can't miss it, really. And they've nailed it, Lauderdale. So well done to them. A bit of really nice off-season work, but we're just about all set for the opening bounce. Teams getting into their opening positions. Cam Brown is here ready to rock with special comments. I might hand it over to you, Damian Gill, to take us through the first bounce.
What a treat, and we know I'm hot on the bouncing, so umpire Nick Butler's going to have his work cut out here. So we've got Leadham and Smith in the middle, two of the state's better ruckmen. Sam Siggins straight on a wing up against Fletcher Seymour. There's some star-studded matchups here. So in the middle we go. Start round to encounter between Lauderdale and Launceston down here at SkyBus Oval. And we're up and underway. Bounce heavily favours lead, and we'll do that one again.
There's one.
Write it down.
See, a couple of matchups too, boys. Looks like Jake Smith is picking up Bryce Walsh deep in the goal square, and the young boy, Jack Tuttle, the 18-year-old from Riverside, has got Jacob Gilby.
Smith with a hit out, not convincing. They race away now through Taylor. Long looking in the Thorpe direction. He gets to it and he clunks. Perfect start for the Blues.
And he's going to ride on it here, the veteran. Looks like Alex Hill might be picking him up.
I think that's a matchup you usually see between these two sides. Of course, taking on the coaching duties this year, Thorpe. Not something that's foreign to him. Did it Devonport, South Launceston before that. So, the Blues number 9. Wander on in. This would be the perfect start for Launceston. Away from home at Lauderdale. Goes out to the right. It looks good off the boot. Has it got the journey? Absolutely. That is the perfect start for the Blues.
Here's a beautiful kick off the boot. Thought he might have struggled with the journey potentially, but in the end he got some great purchase on the connection with the footy, and a perfect start for Launceston. Good contested mark too.
It was fantastic. You saw the replay there. He judged it well.
Was he right on 50, boys?
It's a little bit deceiving from where we're standing, because we're right at ground level, so it's little elevation here. So it's hard to see where he was, but regardless, he cleared the line with relative ease. As we go back into the middle, Leadham and Smith to contest things. Comes down to Harper, tried to get a kick away. He's immediately mobbed. Smith wraps him up in a big tackle, shoveled out by Franklin. Launceston with a chance to get it forward now through Taylor. Handball back now. Blues jumpers all around the ball. Kick to half forward's a pretty good one. So chance now for Gillo. He's at left half forward. Kick straight into the man on the mark, and that'll be out of bounds. Out of side.
They let him know about it too. James Gillo, an interesting player, Brownie.
He can bob up, can't he? And an impact player. We've seen him at times kick multiple goals on occasions.
So in it comes, Leadham, Smith. Leadham won it down just. It was shovelled out by Franklin. Got it to Smith. He's met solidly by 2 Blues. We'll have another stoppage. In fact, free kick's been paid to Smith. Might have got one high. He handballs immediately to his right-hand side to Siggins, who will send Lauderdale forward for the first time this match. Hodge is at the back there, gathers cleanly, kicks back beyond a wing to nobody in particular. Siggins will get his second touch, concedes some ground. Handball found its target, but it'll be out of bounds once more, right in front of the Lauderdale coach's box.
So here at SkyBus Oval, Launceston get the jump on Lauderdale. Back in it goes. Swatted away by Smith. Pretty nicely done, but at the floor of it was Launceston through Taylor. Good pressure by Thorpe. Forces it over. A bit of afters. We talked about bad blood not liking each other. They're into each other. Usual sort of suspects. It's thrown on in again. Smith in front. Taps down for his runners. Should bundle out of play once more, and it's Franklin who sees it over.
Tim Bristow starting as the deepest forward for Launceston at the moment.
Really looking forward to seeing him in full flight. Former Lynch medalist, of course, for Launceston several years ago now. Comes back in. Smith won it down. Pair of bombers in Heavey wraps up Taylor. So stoppages are plenty to start things off here. Umpire Nathan Geeson does the umpiring work. Up it goes once again. Siggins was in there. Harper came on through. Couldn't find a target with his handball. Launceston have it now. In fact, Lauderdale have it at half back. So chance now for the Bombers to reload. They'll go long beyond a wing. The fist came from Boyd, and we'll see it out of play once again. We're 4 minutes deep into the first term here. It's Launceston 1 straight 6. Leading Lauderdale here. Perfect start via the boot of Mitch Thorpe. We'll get another resumption. Bell Chambers and his opponent just get acquainted. And it comes. No ruckman could win the tap. It was knocked forward by Saunders, met solidly by Burge. Chance now for Lauderdale. High ball inside 50. In fact, it's out of bounds on the full. It'll be a Launceston free kick.
Just over sprayed that one, did Heavey. No, he's pretty crafty around 50. So often when we come to watch games at this particular venue, the scoring is done to the left of screen. So far, no score. Be interesting how it unfolds throughout the afternoon as Harper gets things moving onto a wing. Taken by the big ruckman, Leadham. Leadham, what does he like? He likes Thorpe. Heads that way, bouncing just ahead of Thorpe and out of play. It's a bit of a scrappy start here, Brownie.
It is. No one really stamping their authority early in this game from either side.
Comes back in again. Leadham jostles with Siggins on this occasion. Paul Freeman squirts out a handball. Bill Chambers runs on. Bryce Walsh now hands it off. Look to move it, Lauderdale. Heavey is collected as he kicks. Off the bonce of a Launceston player. Burge comes in to apply a tackle. Harper moves it. Underneath was Josh McGuinness and he intercepts.
That's what he does so very well, doesn't he? Intercept. Reads it well off halfback. Normally a great deliverer of the footy.
You've put the mockers on, Brownie. That's a horror show.
I'll put it away.
Josh McGuinness straight down the throat of Paul Freeman. He fires inside 50 again. Thorpe the target. It's going to be what we see all afternoon, I think. Cries for high. Umpire Sam Bridges giving nothing. It'll be a ball up inside 50.
This might have been a high one on Dunellen, but umpire said no, nothing doing. We'll have another stoppage. Siggins doing the ruck work, but it was Harper that won it down in the Thorpe direction. Tried to just squirt a ball back inside. Siggins will get it again. Had a lot of it early. Kept in play by Lauderdale. I'm not sure if it was to their detriment or not. That was a wonderful fend-off kick towards goal. There's a goalkeeper back there in Hill. He'll rebound and find a target out here on the near side. It's Saunders doing battle as he tries to just paddle it towards the boundary line, and Hodge did really well for Launceston. We'll have a boundary throw in just 5 metres right to our commentary position here at Lauderdale Oval.
New player there in that contest for Lauderdale, Alex Saunders from Lakes Entrance in Victoria. One of the recruits.
Several fresh faces running around today. As it comes back in once more, Leadham couldn't quite get hands to it. Franklin will get there first. He's wrapped up by Powerfreeman in a strong tackle. Ball spills free, just nudged towards half forward for Lauderdale. It was Smith going after it. Packer players form. Keranawa swoops, couldn't get boots of ball. It'll spill out of bounds for another boundary throw-in.
Well, Lauderdale will want to try and lock this in here, give them the best chance to score. If not, some repeat inside 50 entries.
He looked really good on return last week, Keranawa. Of course, we butchered his name all season last year until we were alerted late in the season. That's how you say it. As Smith takes it straight out of the ruck, down for Saunders. He's starting to get busy.
This is where the players have got to be alert. We've seen, I don't want to knock the boundary umpire, but that's twice we've had some shallow throw-ins now. So,
geez, you've put the heat straight on the Bev show here. What's he going to deliver? Needs a bit of muscle. Hit the gym, Bev. So we'll throw it on in. Forward 50 for Lauderdale.
That's better.
That is better. But it's straight to the Blues runners in Seymour. Of course, formerly of Clarence. He powers long. Off hands, it comes to Vandervelde. He might just receive back. No, it spills into the middle. Good pressure applied by Sutton. He'll lock this one in. Paul Freeman tries to help out. Going nowhere.
Sorry, not the Bev show. He's a good Bulldog man.
It was Welsh, rather.
Was it?
And up it goes. Siggins off his hands. Out the back. Keranawa drops it off. Thor Boscott doesn't eye goal. Instead looks to hit up a target in Elliott in the long sleeves. Misses him. They'll work their way out of defence now, Launceston. Oh, Vandervelde, that was ugly. Off his boot now to play.
Yeah, he's normally someone who likes to distribute the ball, Vandervelde, with all due respect. He's a great defender, isn't he, one-on-one, and he's done a terrific job over a number of years. But
his finest there as the Launceston defence comes under siege. They're holding up so far, though, as Hodge couldn't come away with it cleanly. Killerly now has it for Launceston in the middle of the ground. Kicks beyond a wing looking for Thorpe. It'll just beat him, though. Out of bounds, right in front of the Lauderdale interchange bench.
Killerly, interesting player, isn't he? The strength and conditioning coach at the club as well, and also has done a bit of work in that area for the Devils too, boys.
Looks like a pretty strong sort of operator. Nuggety on baller, defender. Ball comes in once again. Hands all around the Sharon. One out here by Launceston. Taylor will get them forward again. Contested half forward. It'll be killed. In fact, it stays in. Franklin picks up. Throws it on the boot, looking for the barrel. Conway provided the spoil at the back. And it'll go out of bounds once more, out of side. We're 10.5 minutes gone here at Lauderdale Oval. It's Launceston 1 straight 6, letting Lauderdale yet to score.
And that goal came in the first 30 seconds of play too, boys.
Yeah, Launceston be very pleased with this start. So lead them now. Taps down, but Bill Chambers snares. Clever from Sutton over the top to his skipper in Walsh. Powers towards Gilby. Almost takes it with the one juker. Smith now out of trouble. He looks for a target in Conway. Back to Smith and back to Conway. By foot onto the wing. Looking for Lucas, but so often is the case down here at Lauderdale. Josh McGuinness intercepts and he races away. A booming boot inside 50. Boss got the target rather. He gets to the fall of the ball. Back for Hill. Now with Williams. Little goose step. Throws a chaos ball inside 50 and Vandervelde claims. So Vandervelde, just a little nudger. Just to the paint of 50, and it's Brown now, Casey Brown. Deployed in a range of roles last year. In defensive dues at the moment. Asked a bit of Taylor, he was up to the task though.
Looks like they want to retain possession by foot, doesn't it, at the moment? They're happy to go slow with the footy. Try and find a target.
He looks for Leadham on this occasion. It's good, but he drops this one off with quick hands to Bristow. Bristow long. Again, Thorpe the target. Good fist coming from Hill. Thorpe creative off the ground. Now out for a throw.
That's twice he's done that now, just trying to keep the ball in.
It worked out nicely, didn't they, Launceston? They didn't panic. Conway with a few touches early to fix some pats.
Be good nerve settlers, Brownie. Be a key figure in this new look Launceston lineup. Will be thrown on in. Thorpe contesting this one. He gets good hands to it, but straight to McGuinness, who's got blue all around him. Will be another stoppage inside 50 for the Blues.
So Hill to contest with Thorpe, who won it down decisively. It just paddles around. Burge, or Walsh, I should say, is back there. There's the first confusion. It was kicked off the deck, was it? Just for a minor score. So Launceston hit the scoreboard. They register a behind. They're 1-1-7. Lauderdale yet to score. McGuinness, he'll bring things in. Just kicks beyond 50, looking for Kerenauer. Found him. Thought about playing on, but opted against it. Kick into the middle of the ground wasn't his finest, but it'll be good enough. Lauderdale with the numbers. They'll be hoping to work something out here through Williams, who got it back to Kerenauer. He now goes inboard. It was slightly dicey, but they'll do it well here through Sutton. Long ball inside 50 in. The boss got direction. Two Launceston players flew, unable to bring it down. Ground ball now to be won. Burge is in there. Scrappy kick out. Big footy to be won here for Lauderdale. Walsh kicks around the corner towards goal. It'll be a minor score. So Lauderdale register their first points for the afternoon. One behind. They trail by a goal. Launceston 1-1-7. 14 gone in this one. Launceston bring it out from fullback. They kick beyond 50, looking in the Seymour direction. He was unable to take cleanly. Lauderdale player got a shove there as it gets shoveled out now to Burge. Now it's Harper who gathers cleanly. Kicks around the corner towards the wing and he hits a player on the chest in Gillo.
He's been busy so far, Harper.
He has.
Gillo, short one inside, is good to Boyd. Now he elects to switch across the ground. It was dicey. He asked a lot of Brown. He was unable to take the mark. Walsh went in. Gathered cleanly. He's mobbed by two Blues. Umpire says play on. Kerenauer goes to get it. Shovels it out now, only as far as Taylor. He's claimed by Siggins. Eventually gets his handball out. Kerenauer still lurking. Handball over from Siggins. Couldn't find a target. Conway in there on hands and knees. Shovels it out. Saunders goes after it, as does Seymour. Spills out eventually. Chance now for Launceston. Handball missed its target. Taylor once again. Now it's just thrown on the boot. Forward for Launceston. McGuinness tried to work his man underneath it. Gillo gets it. Finds the man in Conway. Misses the target. McGuinness is claimed by Gillo. Good patch of footy. Umpire says, I'll have it, please.
Not much time and space with the footy at the moment.
Not at all. And really good pressure applied on McGuinness on that occasion. It's down from Leadham. Saunders fumbles. Lets in the Blues. Look to move it forward, but he's mopped up well there, Saunders, with a really good tackle on Walsh, Luke Walsh. Number 31 for the Blues. So, yet again, Leadham will contest, this time with Marr. A couple of ruck options for Lauderdale. At the fall of the ball, Kieran Ewell tries to get it. Socket off the deck inside 50, but not for long. They bound away through Tuttle. Interesting sort of option. Seymour might pick it up. He doesn't. Trickles out just in front of the Launceston bench.
Tuttle was one of the players who played really well last week, boys, from the Riverside Junior Club, so they've managed to get their emerging pathways through to senior footy. Boyd was another one from that factory.
So in it comes again. Taylor again, but has his ball blocked. Be picked up. No time and space whatsoever, but Franklin manages to find just enough to get it on the boot. Direct inside 50. Vandervelde interrupts. A ball meant for Gilby. Kieran Ewell under serious pressure. Vandervelde by hand.
Kick.
Finds Smith and then Conway. Eager to get it going. Hodge drops what he should have taken. Back from Taylor. Hodge in trouble. Good tackle. Lauderdale now shovel out a handball. Spun around. And they'll cut it off through Brown.
They've held up pretty well, haven't they? Early stages, this Launceston defence.
A little Chisler. Finds Harper. He's had a lot of the football. A key mover for this Launceston side, and they'll go back to him. Of course, he's got the captaincy this year. The little one looking the Seymour direction. An errant kick, but Sutton doesn't complete the grab, and Seymour, wise to it, takes it and runs. Looking for Palfreyman, a really good fist from Edward Trump, new to the Bombers outfit. Good signs.
He's new from played a bit of footy in Northern Territory in South Australia.
Great spoil.
A low-scoring affair so far here at Lauderdale Oval. Boundary throw-in right in front of our commentary position. Two rucks will go at it. It was gathered beautifully by Saunders, who was on the move immediately. Left foot ball inside 50, has a 2-on-1. Defenders get back. Tuttle will be first to it on the goal line. In fact, he elects to just try and paddle it over. Eventually gathers cleanly, kicks out towards a pocket. Bill Chambers providing the harassment on Hodge, and eventually he'll get it over. Just whistle finally comes.
Just haven't had opportunities for the midfield of either team to get some connectivity with their forwards at the moment. But the Launceston defenders are holding up pretty well with a number of repeat inside 50 entries here from Lauderdale.
So up it goes. Smith won it down right into the path of Walsh, who was ripped off it. Saunders has been really good. Goes in to get the footy. I think that was Walsh again, who just scrubbed it out, but only as far as a Bombers player who just sent one forward, but it was tumbling, and eventually goes out of bounds in the left forward pocket. 18 and a half minutes gone here. Launceston 1-1-7. Lauderdale just the one behind. So slender lead to the Blues as we go deep inside the Bombers forward line.
Oh, short.
Another short boundary throw in. The fist came only as far as Boscott, who wanted to turn and go. Eventually got a handball out to Kieran Ewell, who sends one towards goal. Don't tell me! Kieran Ewell provides the spark. That's a wonderful finish. What a goal, Lauderdale.
Well, he just found some time and space, didn't he, Rowan? And it landed fortuitously on that left foot, and that's just forward craft, isn't it? As we watch it on the replay here. Smart handball, was it, from Boscott, and right up along the boundary line. Not much margin for error, and just swung on beautifully for the angle. They needed that one, Lauderdale. They haven't been able to get a lot of one-on-ones with their key forwards. That's what they'll be after. Bill Chambers has now gone to the goal square, so it looks like there's a bit of a change there happening with Gilby coming off for a rest.
Just Kieran Ewell things that was from tight on the boundary. Wonderful goal. Lauderdale 1-1-7. Launceston 1-1-7. Scores all locked up here at Lauderdale Oval.
You could see that unfolding before it even happened. In the middle again. This time Conway off his hands. Good tackle coming from Burge. Too high though, says the umpire. So we'll go the way of the Blues through Killalea. He looks long in the Thorpe direction, has been the choice of the Blues on most occasions. Comes out the back, Siggins through his legs, Taylor off the ground, a high ball, Killalow. Out looking the Dunellen direction, good punch. Down for the helmeted Lucas. They can test for it on the ground. It was some really physical stuff there. Raglione and Dunellen, neither taking a backward step. So it'll be thrown in again. 1-1-7 plays 1-1-7. A really tight, tense tussle. In it comes. Down from Leadham. Good hands. Out the back was Hodge. A bouncing ball toward 50. Picked up a big tackle coming from Boscott. And now Lauderdale will look to capitalise. Kerenua lost his footing at the wrong time. They do okay there, though, through Tuttle. And now they're streaming through the centre. Big Leadham shovels out a handball. Inside 50, Thorpe.
That was a good kick, was it, from young Miller to lower the eyes and find his coach.
We'll see this again, Brownie. You're right. I think it was Tyson Miller. Been involved just before. That is a really nice bit of use.
It was, because he had the presence of mind to just lower his eyes. He could have blazed away in a bit of space, but honoured the lead. And the way he kicked the first one, he'd give him a strong chance here, the veteran, Mitch Thorpe. A terrific player of the competition now for a number of years, hasn't he, Gilly?
Many, many years. Of course, coach of this side now. Extra responsibility, and he'd love to make this one count. Get back a lead for the Blues. He struck it pretty well, but just off to the left. A minor score.
So Thorpe with his second shot on goal. After a nice bit of play to hit him up inside 50 as the Bombers just go long from full back, and here they are over the back. I think that's Hill tracking it towards the boundary line.
He was held, I think.
He was held. He'll get the free kick. He'll get Lauderdale going inside 50 now. Just 2 kicks it took to get him inside 50. Bell Chambers swooped on the handball, who got it across to Saunders, who kicks the goal.
Well, we haven't seen a lot of Alex Saunders, but what he just showed then is great composure and looked like, again, another player who's got some genuine forward craft, because he just steadied himself up. He didn't rush, and if we watch him on the replay here, he just slows himself down a little bit, lays it across his body, knew what he was doing. And that probably hurts Launceston, Gilly, because I think their start's been pretty good. But it was just from the kick out, really, wasn't it, in the free kick?
We saw the long bomb out of full back. There was a holding free kick and then another kick inside 50. It was a coast-to-coast goal in every sense of the word. And that's just what can happen here at Lauderdale Oval. It's a smaller deck, and Lauderdale have taken full toll there as we go back in the middle. Smith did the ruck work. 2 bodies met heavily in the middle of the ground. Franklin goes after it, might have been held, couldn't gather cleanly. Eventually Taylor emerges with the footy. His handball was an errant one. Bill Chambers couldn't gather it, eventually got to Franklin, who has a man on the outer side now. A low ball inside 50, and here's Saunders again.
Yeah, great kick from Josh Williams, who he's off.
So Saunders, he wanted to get and go. Umpire said no.
It was a good handball out of that clearance from Franklin. The handball was off actually to Siggins.
Dishes off to Siggins now. Long ball towards home. Big fly from the back, Kerenua.
Yeah, just had to sit, didn't he?
We see it again.
Yeah.
A little too easy, Brownie.
It was. They probably needed a little bit more body contact. A couple of people there just to make it a little bit harder for him. Now, they should have someone there because he's just going to run around, you would think.
Well,
unless he's...
He does exactly that. Just opens up the angle and makes no mistake. Henry Kerenua kicks his second, and all of a sudden Lauderdale skip out to a lead.
Well, it hurts, doesn't it, if you're a Launceston supporter or player, because I thought the first 10 minutes they were holding their own, even the first 15 or so, and then all of a sudden Lauderdale have got on a roll, kicked the last 3 goals. Not sure these days how many metres you're allowed to give them when they're lined up on the mark like that, but he was always going to run around.
Looked a bit too easy, didn't it, Brownie? I tell you what,
we saw one last week, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We saw several with Taylor Whitford just taking full toll down at the Twin Ovals. But warning signs for the competition. Henry Kerenua means business. Start this season like he finished the last, and it's down off the hands of Leadham again, back in the middle. Racing onto it was Sutton. Good hands for Ma. Out the back is Walsh. Spies it off, but that's well done by Taylor. A bit of a shake and bake looking for Thorpe. Fisted away. Now socked by Hill. Looking for Williams, and it's seen over.
A little predictable going forward at the moment, Launceston. They seem to have eyes for Mitch Thorpe.
Yeah, they are. It's a good call.
Free kick off the ball there.
Hill discipline. It's contact that didn't need to be made there, so Sutton with a freebie.
Been pretty good, Josh Williams, early.
He has. Good use by foot. And he does it again to Franklin, who's getting busy. A big switch. Nicely done. Switches it right up. Finds the target inside 50 now, looking for Elliott. Brown sniffed at it. Gilby picked it up. Back from Elliott. Gilby now trying to find some space. Does well. Finds Bellchambers. Hands over the back. It's cut off though. Conway. There's a whistle. It's going the way of the Blues.
Looks sharp there, Jacob Gilby, a couple of times by hand.
He just shook off an opponent too. Found a bit of space. So looks like he's moving pretty well, Brownie, as Conway takes this one in the back pocket.
Been okay, Conway. So too, Miller Hodge. We've seen him sometimes as that second string on baller, half forward. Looks like he's being moved across half back. He looks more composed and at home to me.
It's not his best kick. He spots up Liam Mara, the opposition. Calls to switch. He opts to go high and long. Elliott the target. Sits under it, almost brings it down at the full. There's plenty of red and black. Elliott mops up again. Out for Ray Hill. Ray Hill.
He's missed it.
He's missed it. And I tell you what, Jacob Gilby wouldn't be too happy. He was sitting in the top of square, free as a bird, as we'll see on the replay.
It was good handball, I think, from Matt Elliott, the boy from Smithton. Another one of the recruits just to spot Hill. But he probably should have done better on that occasion.
He should be finishing those at this level, you'd think, Brownie.
Wouldn't be a lot of time left, I don't think, boys, in this quarter.
27 and a half gone as Launceston hold the footy in the full-back position. They'll bring it out now. Takes full advantage of the new rule. Steps beyond the square, looking for Conway. Couldn't take the mark. It fell to Harper, who just brushed aside a Williams tackle. He'll assess his options up forward and try to hit a target. It was in the Dunellen direction. It'll be spiked over the line, though. And we'll have another boundary throw-in. So deep into this first term, Lauderdale 19, Launceston 8. It was just a mini period from Lauderdale, sparked by Henry Karanua, who kicked 2 goals and took a fantastic mark to get Lauderdale on top in this first term. Siggins did the ruck work there for Lauderdale, won it down in front of a teammate. Siggins went after it and was just shoved over the line by Harper, who just lets him know about things. No real tensions have spilled over as yet, boys.
He's a great size, Joby Harper, isn't he? He looks extremely fit to me. He's got that big-bodied midfielder which allows him to brush off tackles, be good in the contested situation.
Siggins went to rove his own footy as he won it down. There is that man Harper who got a handball out only as far from black and red jumper. That's a really nice mark taken by Brown.
He's got some talent, Casey Brown.
Not a great kick as it was touched off the boot by Walsh, who went and got the footy again, and he'll pump Lauderdale inside 50 in the Gilby direction. He was second to the footy, but he might do okay. Brown goes back. There's been a whistle.
Contact below the knees.
Might have been below the knees. So a chance here, in fact it was, as Ma came spilling over the top. And this would really hurt Launceston right on the quarter-time siren. Liam Ma with a chance to extend this lead.
Tell you what, he's gone for the show back there run up here.
Ben Brown sort of set up here from Ma as he really comes back to about centre wing. So to extend this lead to 17 points, it's an absolute shocker off the boot. It won't make the distance. And Lauderdale will take an 11-point lead into quarter time. What was an interesting term of footy. Low-scoring affair, but Henry Karanua provided the spark Lauderdale needed.
He was spot on, and the first 15 to 20 minutes, I thought the Launceston young defence stood up pretty well, and they were pretty measured down back and composed. They were patient with the footy and tried to be slow, I thought, in their ball movement. Whether or not that was something deliberate to deny Lauderdale the footy, it looked to be working, but in the end, as you mentioned, a couple of goals out of nothing, really, and Lauderdale go in with an 11-point lead when they haven't played anywhere near their best footy. We haven't seen Gilby involved in the game yet. We know he's going to have his moments. Boscott's another one, Bill Chambers. So you'd think there's a fair bit of upside left still in this Lauderdale Footy Club. For Launceston, I thought their effort was pretty good. You can see they haven't got a lot of height, boys. That's why I think they're going quite slow with the footy on occasions. They've probably got to go a little bit with more options. You mentioned it throughout the call, Rowie, in terms of Mitch Thorpe, who lined up for the first goal here. This was in about the first minute of the game. Lovely long kick from right on 50. But still some good signs for Launceston. I think their effort and intensity around the contest has been pretty good, but I still think there's plenty of upside for the Lauderdale Footy Club.
No, absolutely. I think you're right. Very predictable going inside 50. Launceston, when they were calm and collected and just looked to hit up targets, I thought they looked pretty good. I just think the Lauderdale pressure was really telling late on in the piece, and this man, Henry Kiranua, didn't he line it up? Two terrific goals.
Just smart, isn't he, Kiranua, around the goals, and he looks like he's going to end up with a 4 or 5 goals the way he's travelling today. Like the work of Saunders, boys, didn't necessarily have a heap of the footy, but what he did was show a lot of class. We're going to see him on screen now from memory. This was showed a bit of experience, I reckon, in terms of the amount of games he's played, the amount of goals he's kicked since coming across from, where did he come from in the end? Lakes entrance, I think, from Victoria, boys. So some of the recruits have started pretty well for both teams, it's got to be said.
Yeah, fantastic. We'll go through the goal kickers just quickly. It's been a low-scoring affair, 3-1-19 to just the 1-2-8 for Launceston. Lauderdale, 2 goals for Henry Kiranua and 1 to Alex Saunders and 1 goal to Mitch Thorpe. They are the goal kickers today. A very handy 11-point lead to Lauderdale at the quarter-time break. A tight tussle. We'll be back to assess all the action here from SkyBus Oval. Stay with us. We'll take a brief break now from commentary. So back with quarter 2 action from down here at SkyBus Oval, the home of the Lauderdale Bombers, and they'd be pretty happy in the Lauderdale huddle, I would have thought. Cam Brown, 11-point lead after a pretty strong start from the Blues.
Yeah, and look, they didn't play anywhere near their best footy, and we still haven't seen. We know they've got such dynamic forward half, players that can, well, they're a team that can kick goals quickly, but really players like Walsh, Gilby's another one, Bell Chambers, these sorts of players. They didn't get a lot of opportunities to use their forward craft and explosiveness, so you'd think there's still a bit of upside left for that group of players.
I think there absolutely is, and if you're Launceston, what do you do to try and combat what Lauderdale are going to throw at you? They were pretty good for a large portion of that quarter, I thought, Rowie.
Yeah, they certainly were. They got off to that flyer. Lauderdale's just avenues to goal seem to be a point of difference at the moment as we go back into the middle of the ground. Leadham won it down. Siggins with the flying handball. Got it to Bell Chambers. Lauderdale will go inside 50, looking for Gilby. Unable to take the mark. It spills out to Hodge. Tumbling ball now. Here's Brown. Got his handball away. Only as far as Kerenua, who just took the ball cleanly and blind turned. He'll set up a goal inside 50. Burge unable to take the mark. In fact, he got the free kick.
Oh, yeah. You want to watch this bit of play here because...
Oh, it's Walsh, is it?
I think so.
Kerenua, that was dynamic, wasn't it? Just if his evasiveness, his ability to... He could have easily blazed away because he balked, he found some time and space, spun around on that left foot, but then lowered his eyes. And in the end, the kick gave... Is it Walsh?
It's Walsh.
It's Walsh.
Gee,
every opportunity. And this is what he has been throughout his career, and that is a goal-kicking midfielder, Damian Gill. You'd think he'd kick this one.
So Walsh for the perfect start to this second term for Lauderdale. He makes no mistake. He sends the Bombers out in front by 17 points, raises the finger to the sky, and the Bombers kick off the second term in beautiful fashion. And again, it was all thanks to the work of Henry Kerenua.
Yeah, best on the ground for mine, and a great score assist there. Bryce Walsh, we mentioned in the opener before we kicked off today, boys, he's almost a new recruit for them. They didn't have him for a large chunk of last season, but he's a valuable player because he can stay forward and kick you 3 or 4. He can roll through the midfield and win a lot of contested and uncontested footy. Dynamic player.
Dynamic player indeed, and that's the perfect start for the second stanza for the Lauderdale Bombers. Back in the middle, a good bounce. Almost from Leadham. It's well sharked by Taylor. He's had a bit of footy looking in the Dunellen direction. He competes. He spills to ground. I'll make a way through Trupp. He's caught though. Good tackle, Joby Harper. Being one of the Blues' best.
I think he can go back and kick a goal here. I know he's outside 50, but he is a long kick of the footy, Joby Harper.
So he's setting up for it.
Absolutely he does.
And a good player, hasn't he, for a number of years, even in his junior days. Great athlete.
He was Team of the Year last year and he didn't play a full season. Interested to see what he can produce this year, and that's fantastic. Joby Harper leading from the front. Great reply for the Blues.
Yeah, he's not the quickest player, we know that, but what he has got is great football nous and craft, ability to find time and space. He's got a big body and he finishes off his work, and that was a great goal, a badly needed one for Launceston. Their first from probably since the first minute or so of the first quarter. And a good response from them.
Certainly was. Impressive finish from Joby Harper, who, as soon as he won the free kick, he went back and was always going to have a ping at the big sticks, and did so with aplomb. He kicks Launceston's second goal, 2-2-14. They still trail Lauderdale 4-1-25. So we go back into the middle of the ground. Franklin will send Lauderdale forward again. That's a nice mark taken by Heavey. He plays on immediately and finds a target inside 50.
Well, that's champagne football, really, from the Bombers.
Shows all his experience there, didn't he, Alex Heavey? Hit the ground running, wheel and go, as they say, but had the presence of mind to lower his eyes and spot up the leading target. This is Matt Elliott from Smithton.
So Elliott with a chance to hit straight back for Lauderdale. It looks like it's coming around. He likes it off the boot, and Lauderdale hit back in style and extend this lead once more. Perfect response, Bombers.
The game has opened up a little bit, hasn't it, in terms of the first quarter was a bit of an arm wrestle for the first 20 or so minutes, but we've seen multiple goals early inside the opening 4 minutes here.
That was fantastic footy, really.
Oh, it's a beautiful
As
kick.
you say, Brownie. The game's exploded to life a little bit. Now we just need to see whether the Blues can return serve. Back in the middle, umpire Sam Bridges. As Smith and Leadham stare each other down. Bounce favours Leadham. Straight down to Harper. Look at him go. Racing out of the middle. A long booming boot. That's fantastic. Thorpe. Will he get it down the runners? Off hands. All Lauderdale. Sutton burrows in. He's collected. They come out though. Thrown on the boot by Bristow. A bouncing ball is picked up by the youngster.
Good goal.
He gets a shot off. Toby Lucas kicks the Blues third of the day and again cuts the margin.
Yeah, just a young player making his way in the game, Toby Lucas, and his teammates got around him then. He was smart. He found a bit of space. Bristow won the contested footy and then didn't have a lot of time to kick it around his body, Toby Lucas, but a good start for him. Well done.
Speak about Thorpe and looking one-dimensional, but he brought it to ground there, didn't he? And he created a chance, and Bristow swooped on the loose footy and didn't quite hit the target in Lucas, but did enough to get it to him, and Lucas made no mistake. It was a nice little finish from the youngster. So 5-1-31 the Bombers. Launceston 3-2-20. Can we see another goal as a shootout starts to unfold here at Lauderdale Oval? It's in the middle of the ground now. Players go in. Burge was hard in it on Walsh.
It's high on Brown, I think.
So a high one. Brown will emerge with the ball. He hits a target. He's got Fletcher Seymour from about where Joby Harbour kicked Launceston's second goal. He doesn't opt for the same. He puts a high ball inside 50. Thorpe comes from the back and takes the mark. There might have been a hold. It doesn't matter because he runs around. And now Launceston are looking the goods.
Well, that was a really dangerous inside 50. It actually carried a long way. Mitch Thorpe was happy, wasn't he, to sit at the back and work his way through to the front. Actually got the free kick. It was against Hill, and the umpire allowed him to play advantage and used all his experience to kick across his body and put through his second. Enjoying that match-up.
I'm enjoying this quarter, Brownie.
Well, it is. It's just opened up, hasn't it? And it does. If you can get a centre bounce clearance, and we're speaking about the new rules, of course, the 666.
So it looked like the Bombers were going to break away, but now Launceston within a kick. Back in the middle. Leadham off hands. Harper, he's been central to everything for the Blues. Just pal along from Leadham.
They're just a bit over-exuberant at the moment, Lauderdale, giving away some unnecessary free kicks.
It's well called there, Brownie, because it's going to go the way of Harper in the back coming from Boscott. As you say, a little over-exuberant.
He'll go long, you wouldn't think, again.
He's got a lovely shoe on him. He goes long in the Thorpe direction. Looked to make contact. Probably should have flown for it. Trupp now. Looks to help it out. It'll be cut off.
Had to take it.
Crucial drop ball from Welsh. Out it comes from Hayden Smith. A bouncing ball. Saunders couldn't quite get it. Nicely picked up. Nicely done by Conway. At the fall, that's a great crumb from Taylor. Looks at goal offline.
He just needed either kicked on the outside of his foot or run onto his left foot on that occasion. Just ran out of a little bit of room to execute the skill he was after. But a great 5 minutes at the moment here from Launceston.
Long and direct seems to be the message at quarter time as the ball comes out to the commentary side. Mark unable to be taken. Siggins couldn't quite get his disposal away as Launceston now with a chance to go forward through Smith in the Thorpe direction, strong in front.
Now he likes to play on here. They've got to be on to this.
Great bit of use by Smith, wasn't it? Terrific. And Hill is... It's proving a bit of a dicey matchup at the moment.
Sometimes there he goes. I've seen him do this time and time again.
Round he comes and Mitch Thorpe kicks his third. Launceston have kicked the last three and it's game on in a big way here at Lauderdale Oval.
Well, I thought he was nearly going to play on the first time he's taken the mark. I've seen him do that numerous times throughout his career. But in the end, he had a bit of a glance, realised he had some time, and as is the modern way with a lot of players, they're comfortable playing on and kick it across their body, and he's kicked three.
So a 2-point lead for Launceston. We'll just get their scoreboard corrected. No, it's the wrong way. The producer, he'll fix it up. Back in the middle. So a 2-point lead to Launceston. They've really done well to get this game back in their grasp. As Bill Chambers bursts away from the middle. Kicks forward, Conway. Great grab.
I thought he was pretty good in the first quarter. He's got a big frame, big body.
So they'll move it out of defence. Donnell on the target. Picks it up. They've looked to spot up targets where possible. That's not his best. Paul Freeman burrows in, picks it up. Joby Harper again. He's had a lot of footy. A bouncing ball towards Thorpe. He's running hot. Looks to drop it off. No one there. Picked up though by a blue. Will be swung forward. It's all Lauderdale. That is clever stuff. Almost by the goal kicker Lucas. He spoiled it and almost socketed it out of the air, but they'll make it out of defence now, Lauderdale. Coming in was Tyrrell. Picking up was Karanua. There's a whistle. And it's Tyrrell's ball, holding against Heavey. A little one from Tyrrell. Bounces just ahead of Harper. He just deals with Bell Chambers. Keeps on moving. The ball falls for Tyrrell from the left half forward flank. Kicks it towards the square and all red and black. It'll be Francis.
So chopped off as Launceston make another foray forward. Well, that's not Francis's finest as he went for Franklin. He was good enough to gather and get a handball off to Hill. He's now got a man on the outer side in Bryce Walsh. He elects to come back into the middle of the ground. Back to Franklin, who just drops it off to the running McGuinness. Kicks long now towards 50. Nice fly there from Vandervelde, who takes it cleanly.
That's what he does. He puts himself in the hole time and time again. Courageous player.
Gets things moving immediately, but sold his man into trouble in Smith. And he was immediately wrapped up by Big Trupp. We'll have a boundary throw in.
He's really good last week for them in the loss against Glenorchy. Jake Smith.
That was Ma with the tackle. So in it comes again. Lead him, won it down. Handball out of there by Saunders. Seymour flew, took it cleanly. He'll just send the ball beyond a wing. That's out of bounds on the full. So Lauderdale ball here. On the outer side.
The free kick to Ragliani. We saw him play really well in a final late last year, Rowie.
I think it was at Belrive against Clarence. I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. Against his old team.
I think he kicked a really nice running goal from memory, Ragliani.
Sorry, slight correction. It's only a 1 point lead. Missed a behind in there somewhere.
Oh,
I'm not a statistician, boys.
What we've got is a tight game.
Ragliani sends Launceston forward. Big fist came. Was gathered by Conway. Couldn't squeeze a kick out of the fray, and it'll bounce over the boundary line for another boundary throw-in.
A good response this from Launceston. Playing away from home, a real test against a grand finalist for the last 2 seasons in the TSL.
And it's been the leaders of the Blues, really, Brownie, Thorpe and Harper.
Yeah, love the work of Harper. Just that bull inside, isn't he? Patrick Cripps like the way he can bullock his way through.
I like the comparison. Same colour top too. And he gets it again. A big powering ball. Great use. He spots up Thorpe. So Thorpe with another look inside 50. Starting to become a real headache.
Well, he's on top at the moment, isn't he? He just anticipated that. He had half a yard. And a chiseled body like Mitch Thorpe, it's going to be hard to get around him. And beautiful call from you, Damo. You mentioned the 2 players that have lifted for Launceston, and right on cue. I didn't want that to go unrecognised. Both those players involved. Harper straight to Thorpe. He's going to line up for number 4.
So Thorpe from just outside 50. He's got it! So 4 goals for Thorpe, and Launceston have a 7-point lead.
Well, it's interesting. He's kicked 4. I'm wondering, the other options that Lauderdale have down there, and I'm not sure there's too many. I reckon you've probably got to stick with Alex Hill at the moment and back him in. This is where we're used to, potentially someone like a Wiggins going down there, boys, to play on him in this situation. We've seen both those boys in the past, their versatility. Darren Winter's been happy to throw them around, unable to do it today.
Just such a quality goal kicker over many years, Mitch Thorpe.
4 first half goals for Mitch Thorpe.
Have that again.
There's another wayward bounce. It's the second of the day.
He's just been able to find some separation, though.
He only needs that yard or 2.
Yep.
Up we go again. Leadham tried to grab it out of the ruck. Franklin's been busy. He'll send Lauderdale forward here once more. Kicks in the Boscott direction. This came from over the top. Kerenua lurking. Got it back to Walsh, or is it Burge? It's Burge. Less the handball. Launceston will rebound now. Outside 50. Leadham just lumbering. Waits for his man to come. It's Seymour. He hasn't got much ahead of himself. He takes on the man in Williams, was swung in the 360 and got his kick away. He'll be met by Trupp, couldn't gather cleanly, just tries to scoop it forward by a foot, eventually wins the handball up. Back to Williams, now back to Walsh, who just sprays this one out of bounds on the full. Launceston ball, 14 and a half minutes gone. It's Launceston by 7 points here at Lauderdale Oval.
They just look a bit rusty over the last 5 or 10 minutes, Lauderdale. A little bit rushed, a bit untidy.
So Seymour, right in front of the commentary position, kicks to half forward. Nice mark. He was taken. He had all the space in the world, did Callow. And now he hits Thorpe on the chest, and he'll go back to line up for his 5th.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Well played, wasn't it, Gillo? Just to wheel on that left foot. And that's where knowing your players, because Mitch Thorpe ran exactly to the spot that a left footer would like to hit up that target. And this will be number 5. What's that, 4 inside 15 minutes, is it, boys, in this second quarter?
Yep.
Talk about a purple patch. This would probably be his easiest set shot he's had.
You have to back him from here, the way he's kicking them, although that one just was hooked to the left-hand side. And just a minor score for Thorpe. So
he might have kicked it a little bit too hard on that occasion.
Tried to really punch it through, didn't he?
Some of the inside 50 kicks in this quarter have been terrific.
That one from Gillo was perfect as it comes outside of defensive 50 now for the Bombers. Walsh with a great tackle. Seymour comes and gets involved. He's tackled by Heavey. It's caught in between his legs. Comes out to Burge. He's been quiet. He'll get a look at it through a free kick. No, he won't. He's look-alike. Walsh breaks away. Hits the chest of Boscott.
He's got to be patient because he's got no one up the ground. That's why he goes sideways.
And he looks for Kerenua, and we know why. Makes things happen, the electric Kerenua. Looks inside 50, not a heap on offer. Elliott maybe is the target. He goes long in the Elliott direction, off the hands of Burge. It trickles out the back. Saunders eyeing it off as it goes towards the boundary. Punched away by Tyrrell, and out it goes.
Haven't been able to get Jacob Gilby into the game at all. Lauderdale, he's such a smart player, great user of his body in one-on-one situations, but
I think
in fairness to him, they haven't been able to get it near him.
They'd love an extra tall down there as well, Brownie.
Yeah, we mentioned Wiggins, didn't we? That's the sort of...
And the other one's Ben McGuinness, who
we saw earlier.
The twos. So, yeah, if they can get them in the side, it's out the back now. Just tried to keep it alive, did Perkins, but it was out in the full. It'll be a bit Jake Smith ball, no. Brown. He's been pretty good, Brown.
He always had some talent.
So he goes from deep in defence. It's a big booming boot, almost from Siggins. Really good effort. It's dropped off by...
It's going to go back,
Francis.
I think, to
I think he was clipped high.
Launceston.
So Francis from centre wing. That's a shocker.
This is what I mean. They have had a horrid 20 minutes almost here, Lauderdale.
So blue ball turned over once again. Harper, he's been massive for Launceston, especially in this second term. One of their igniters.
Feature of his play, that long kicking. There it is again.
Kicks long towards 50. He'll be met at the back by Hill. Went off his boot.
And he's going to play deliberate, boys.
For out of bounds deliberately. And he's called it. So Launceston go inside 50 again, Thorpe direction, but the kick was misguided on this occasion.
I reckon he just rushed it on that occasion, James Gillo. Probably not quite the dangerous spot that his captain coach was looking for. He's the captain, Mitch, isn't he?
So,
Thorpe, Harper.
No, sorry, yeah, he's the coach. Sorry.
Hill found McGuinness, who found Williams, who has it at right half back for the Bombers. He's going to kick long up beyond a wing. Vanderveld sets himself, couldn't quite take the mark. Roved his own footy though, only as far as Smith. Handball was taken by Hodge. It's eventually gathered by Burge, who was ripped off it. Smith and Vanderveld go in really hard. It's going to be held in. The umpire says, "I'll have it, please." Smith's a big brute of a man, isn't he?
He is when you see him up close, Rowie, like we can right at the moment in front of our commentary position.
He's a big fella. So Power Freeman just scrubs the ball forward. It'll be met here and run out of play by Raglione. So Launceston on the charge. They're 8 points to the good. 19 minutes played in this second term. They've looked the better team in this second quarter. Answered all the challenges that Lauderdale have thrown down so far as they attempt to just work one inside 50 here. It's gathered by Taylor, who tried to find Power Freeman with the handball, but he got Sutton high.
So Reece Sutton out of defence. Lauderdale looking to spot up a target. Elliott arrives too late. I thought Brown almost held that. Just stolen by Walsh, and he was tackled.
It's probably falling down a little bit across half forward at the moment, Lauderdale.
That link up, isn't it, Brownie?
It is. Launceston just been a little bit cleaner.
So thrown up, lead him good hands. Down for Taylor. He almost picks it up. Tell you what, it's pressurised this as a free kick for Taylor. So he's had plenty of the footy, operating pretty much solely out of the middle. He looks in the Thorpe direction over his head. The runners are with Lauderdale. It's Raglione. Pals up to himself, but he might run out of tarmac here. He keeps it alive. No, he doesn't.
Oh, I thought he did really.
Well, now that could be against him. No.
After the
he
last
looked disappointed
delivery.
with the call, and watch him here, boys. I think he throws the ball down. I've seen this sort of stuff paid against you. What's this? There you go. I've seen that paid a free kick at times.
Good call, Cam Brown. So attacking 50 for the Blues. Danger signs really for Lauderdale. They started this quarter really, really sharply, but they've fallen away a touch. Thorpe now straight out of the ruck. New rules allow for it. He goes long in the Gillow direction. Off his hands, trickles out. So another forward stoppage for the Blues. They hold an 8-point lead in the second term here. 21 and change gone. Fascinating contest. In again. Thorpe again in the ruck. Off his hands. Paul Freeman, good tackle. Spinning Sutton. Perkins sees it out.
They'd like to free up their distributor, wouldn't they, Lauderdale? Josh McGuinness. They try to give him the footy on every opportunity because he is such a smart user.
So in again. Thorpe and Hill. Thorpe tries to manufacture a shot, goes straight up in the air, it'll come down with snow on it. Picked up by Bristow. Bristow just looks in the Gillow direction. Gillow off his hands. It's picked up again by the little crummer.
Well done.
In Lucas.
That's terrific. His coach would love that because he was front and centre. He hit the contest hard and he didn't cough it up. He was prepared to take the tackle on. Well done, young man.
And they're right in a dangerous area. Harper in the ruck against Siggins. Down for Paul Freeman. He gets out a shot. It will be a minor score for the Blues. They extend their lead to 9 points here at SkyBus Oval.
So Lauderdale bring it in. Sutton had space. The defensive 50 takes the mark on his chest and now just assesses his options. Umpire says play on. He'll come out to the near side, looking in the Gilby direction, but the kick just didn't have the legs on it. Harper floated across in front.
Best on the ground.
That was a wonderful bit of work from Gilby to affect the kick. Turnover Lauderdale. Raglione has it now. Shovels one out to Williams. Now it's Walsh. Gets a ground grubber along the ground. Only as far as Killalea. He goes towards the Thorpe direction. Couldn't take the mark. Nice fist from behind, but Killalea butted up. Rove the footy. Got it off to Bristow. Thought about giving it off. Has a shot himself. Flying shots in Bristow. Launceston go again.
I didn't think it was his best kick off the boot, but it swung in nicely. And again, they hit the contest hard, Launceston. They just look a bit cleaner, a little bit more disciplined. It's got to be said at different stages throughout this quarter, and a bit more predictable. Just watch Bristow. He's always had some great lateral movement. Being able to find time and space has been a key feature of his footy.
Soon as he knew he was free of the Franklin tackle, he thought, I'm going to gobble this one up for myself.
It was a composed finish, wasn't it?
It was.
In the lead-up, really good stuff from Killalea. A couple of really good efforts.
Yeah, he's been
There's a whistle.
Important with a couple of his touches, Kalale. We said he's involved as the strength and conditioning coach at the club.
Back in the middle as Launceston further this lead. What a quarter of footy they've played. Calls of ball on Hayden Smith. Walsh brushes a high tackle. Advantage will be paid for Sutton, who'll have a flying shot on goal. That could be a really good finish. Was it touched on the line? Umpire says no. Lauderdale hit back through Sutton.
Yeah, what it was a terrific bit of shepherding on the goal line. We'll hopefully pick this up on the replay. Boys are across this one beautifully, but just watch the Lauderdale player. We can pick it up. Just was able to use his body there.
Liam Maher.
Might have been Liam Maher. Good work on the goal line. A badly needed goal for Lauderdale.
So the Bombers turn to hit back, and they bring this one back to within 9 points. It was the Bryce Walsh high tackle and the advantage that was allowed to be played that let Reece Sutton just run to about 45 and drill a really nice goal. But back in the middle, another whistle. It'll go the way of Smith. Gee, dicing the danger there in terms of a 50-metre penalty. Gets things going immediately via McGuinness. He's goes in the Elliott direction. Picked up nicely by Saunders, who had Siggins out the back. He was composed enough to get it out to Williams. He'll send a long ball in towards 50 in the Gilby direction. Could he take it over the back? He got 3 bites at the cherry. They're calling a mark, and it's been paid.
I think
he might be too high.
Yeah,
even.
I think he's got a free kick for too high here.
Josh Williams probably went out a little bit early in the second quarter. I thought he was good early. But that's the one-on-one that he's been looking for, Jacob Gilby. That's the one there, was it, against Tyrrell?
Yep.
Yeah, so it looked a mark to me. He had enough of it, took it down cleanly, and then that wasn't paid. He ran straight into Tyrrell, who was a little sloppy in his application of the tackle. Got Gilby high. He strolls in, makes no mistake as he kicks his first 2 in a row for Lauderdale. This game's a humdinger, boys.
Well, he's always going to have moments throughout a footy game. Jacob Gilby makes the most of his possessions. Very smart player. We mentioned before the game, benefiting from a big pre-season. Looks a lot fitter this year.
He's leaner, isn't he?
He is, no doubt about it. Kicked 6 goals last week. Probably the difference.
Yeah, I thought he was probably best on ground last week. He was fantastic. Back in the middle. We have an absolute ripper of a ball game. This quarter in particular, fantastic. That bounce favours Leadham off his hands. Joby Harper being terrific. Wrapped up in a Walsh tackle, going nowhere.
Even then, just the ability to take on the tackle there, not cough it up. Bryce Walsh has tried to go with him now in these centre bounces. So
again, it's Smith with good hands down for Bell Chambers. Probably been a little subdued, wrapped up in a Denellen tackle. Will be rinse and repeat.
Well, he hasn't found the space, Bell Chambers, has he? Normally, he's an explosive player, burst player, when he's got the footy in hand. And I agree. He's been pretty well held today by his standards.
So, off the hands of Leadham. Favours Lauderdale. Spills out of the hands of Burge. He might get it back here. Comes off his hands again. It's a pressurised footy. Good hands out from Bell Chambers. Off now for Siggins. Siggins, a little one. Looking in the Boscott direction. Hands off. Bell Chambers couldn't find the space.
Great tackle, Jake Smith.
Fantastic tackle from Smith, and he's rewarded Julie with a free kick.
Important 3 or 4 minutes coming up here, I would have thought, for Launceston Murray, for both teams, but they just wouldn't want to undo all their effort and concede a couple of goals in red time here, the visitors.
No, it certainly wouldn't. We saw one conceded in red time the other way at the quarter time break. It was a shot on goal at least. Out on the outer wing now. Players come from everywhere. Seymour's in there. Francis is in there. Burge, or was it Walsh, emerged with the footy. Got it out to Franklin. Here's Burge now in the middle of the ground. He says his options. Flares it out wide. Mark was dropped by Sutton, but he's got time and space to think his way through it. Goes the short option to Elliott, who took the mark and was clobbered on the way down.
Is he going to play?
And the umpire is going to call 50 metres.
And I reckon it was probably there.
Yeah, it was. He clearly took the mark.
And it was untidy, wasn't it?
A little untidy from Brown.
Yeah, that's 50. That's fair enough.
So now Lauderdale with a chance to regain the lead. after an all Launceston term early, clawed their way back. Elliott now
That's about 30, I reckon.
in the long sleeves. So in he comes. It didn't look great off the boot, but it swung back late. And it's a goal to Elliott. Lauderdale regain the lead here at Lauderdale Oval. What a quarter of footy it's been. We're deep into the second term, and the Bombers edge back in front.
Well done to Matt Elliott there since coming across from Smith, and I'd say that's his first goal for the club.
Second of the day, actually, Brownie.
For him?
Yeah.
Missed one, did I?
Yeah. I've just got to. It's very rare you make a mistake, so I just have to pick you up when you do. But
Yes.
no, he's
First
a
time's
target.
kick two for the club then.
He's a target, isn't he, Elliott?
I have missed one, you're right.
Back in the middle again, opting to throw. Down off the hands of Ma, not bad. Siggins looking in the Walsh direction. He's got them going, I reckon, as Elliott just kicked that most recent goal off his hands. Taylor squirts one out the side. And they pick out a target, and it's the youngster Lucas, who's done some good things. Finds Harper. Harper, ball inside 50 to Thorpe, off his hands. Brown gets to it at the fall, wrapped up in a tackle. Ball up. So a 3-point lead for Lauderdale. Side attacking 50 now for Launceston. They're desperately like a goal right in the dying embers of this quarter. Off the hands of Thorpe, it comes to Taylor. He's got enough space to shimmy his way out, looking the Gillo direction. Good grab, youngster.
Now watch, because you can swing around here. Let's see if the Lauderdale players are awake to this. Looks like Raglione is covering that.
So James Gillo nestled in right forward pocket for the Blues. This will be a big moment. We're beyond 30 minutes in the second term here.
Might just open up the angle a little bit.
So Gillo, promising youngster, tries to cut the angle, goes to the drop punt, and in the end probably fortunate to sneak it behind.
Had a goal fest this quarter, Rowie. I think 11 goals kicked for the quarter after just 4 in the first, so there might be a little bit more to play in this second quarter.
Both teams certainly going longer and more direct as McGuinness brings it in now. Finds Hill. Hemmed in. Deep in defence, Lauderdale. That's a scrubby old kick. Walsh was at the fall of it. Harper goes after it. Couldn't gather cleanly. And that's a high tackle. Launceston, well, the advantage
That's not the one
might
to
have been
take, though.
paid, and now it's going to be a ball in.
I'm not sold that was advantage though, was it?
No.
The call came very early for the advantage from umpire Nick Butler.
Yeah, Brendan Taylor, if he had his time over again, maybe deep in this quarter, would have liked to have that one back for his teammate.
Regardless, in it comes. Bristow fighting. Got a handball out, and there is the half-time siren, and what a quarter it was. Lauderdale take a 2-point lead into the second half. They were fantastic in responding to the challenge from Launceston. They led by 11 points at quarter time. Launceston took the lead during that second term, and Lauderdale regained it. 8-2-50 to the Blues, 7-6-48 at half-time.
Let's have a look at the goals from the second quarter. It's a fantastic quarter of footy. Bryce Walsh got things going with his first of the afternoon. And you sort of sensed at that point that Lauderdale were probably going to bound away, especially when Elliott popped through his first. And, it looked like Lauderdale were really going to put their foot down, but Launceston, they just awoke and really brought a few key players to light. And one of them, obviously in the middle, was Joby Harper, and the other was Mitch Thorpe. But that was a very nice goal taken by young Toby Lucas, who's done some things. Done some things, Brownie.
Well, it's a good quarter for them, and as we see, their coach was prominent. So too, one of the co-captains, Joby Harper. I thought he was dominant. Best player on the ground in the first half for mine. Watch Thorpe. I've seen him play on in so many of these situations to open up the angle. But a really smart quarter from Launceston in the end. They won at 6-5, but it was an entertaining quarter. 30 minutes of TSL footy. The game opened up. We saw some of the better players get their hands on the footy, use their skills. We saw greater connectivity between the midfielders and the forwards. being able to hit up on targets. And we saw that was one such example as that with Mitch Thorpe.
Certainly a case of sort of smalls versus talls at the moment. Thorpe has 4 goals for Launceston. Joby Harper has 1, while Tim Bristow and Lucas have the others. But for Lauderdale, you've got Saunders, Gilby, Sutton, Karen Ewer has 2, Elliott has a couple, and Bryce Walsh. So interesting that both teams are finding their goals from different sources, I suppose. But I thought in that term, Joby Harper was the igniter for Launceston. He kicked that really long goal from probably 55 metres on the fly, and was just a workhorse around the ground.
He was. He's such a bullocking player, and he can find some space. His skills are underrated, aren't they? And we saw his long kicking has just been a feature of his game today. They're going to have to put some work onto him in the second half. It looks like Bryce Walsh went to him and played him a little bit closer attention in the last 5 or 10 minutes of the game. But it's all set up. And Lauderdale, they'll favour themselves still. They haven't played their best footy, and they're 2 points in front still. But having said that, Launceston with a young group, a lot of players today probably making their first road trip from TSL footy, Rowie, and they go in just 2 points down. It's all set up for a great second half.
Yeah, we'll just quickly run through the goal kickers. As I mentioned, Mitch Thorpe has 4, Harper, Bristow and Lucas have singles for Launceston, while for Lauderdale, Saunders, Gilby and Walsh have singles, while Karen Ewer and Matt Elliott have 2 each. So a 2-point lead to Lauderdale at the end of the first half. They lead 50 to 48. It's going to be a cracking second half. We might have a break from commentary and come back in just a few moments.
Absolutely.
Took the ball cleanly and blind turned. He'll set up a goal inside 50. Burge unable to take the mark. In fact, he got the free kick.
That is career, and that is a goal-kicking midfielder, Damian Gill. You think he'd kick this one?
So Walsh, the perfect start to this second term for Lauderdale. He makes no mistake. He sends the Bombers out in front by 17 points, raises the finger to the sky.
Great athlete.
He was team of the year last year, and he didn't play a full season. Interested to see what he can produce this year, and that's fantastic. Joby Harper leading from the front. Great reply for the Blues.
Yeah, he's not the quickest player, we know.
Franklin will send Lauderdale forward again. That's a nice mark taken by Heavey. He plays on immediately and finds a target inside 50.
This is Matt Elliott from Smithton.
So Elliott with a chance to hit straight back for Lauderdale. It looks like it's coming around. He likes it off the boot, and Lauderdale hit back in style and extend this lead.
They come out though. Thrown on the boot by Bristow. A bouncing ball is picked up by the youngster.
Good goal.
He gets a shot off. Toby Lucas kicks the Blues.
Launceston's second goal. He doesn't opt for the same. He puts a high ball inside 50. Thorpe comes from the back and takes the mark. There might have been a
lovely shoe on him. He goes long in the Thorpe direction. Looked to make contact. Probably should have flown for it. Trupp now. Looks to help it out. It'll be cut off.
Get his disposal away as Launceston now with a chance to go forward through Smith in the Thorpe direction, strong in front.
Yeah, he likes to play on.
It's proving a bit of a dicey matchup at the moment.
Sometimes there he goes. I've seen him do this time and time again.
Round he comes and Mitch Thorpe kicks his third. Launceston have kicked the last three.
And to drop it off. No one there. Picked up though by a blue. It'll be swung forward. It's all Lauderdale. That is clever stuff. Almost by the goal kicker Lucas. He spoiled it and almost
in the hole time and time again. Courageous player.
Gets things moving immediately, but sold his man into trouble in Smith. And he was immediately wrapped.
Top two. And he gets it again. A big powering ball. Great use. He spots up Thorpe. So Thorpe with enough.
Both those players involved. Harper straight to Thorpe. He's going to line up for number 4.
So Thorpe from just outside 50. He's got it. So 4 goals for Thorpe. And Launceston have a 7-point lead.
Well, it's interesting. He's kicked.
So Seymour right in front of the commentary position. Kicks to half forward. Nice mark. He was taken. He had all the space. Mark. He was taken. He had all the space in the world, did Callow, and now he hits Thorpe on the chest and he'll go back to line up for his 5th. You have to back him from here, the way he's kicking them, although that one just was hooked to the left-hand side. And just a minor score for Food.
And he's going to play deliberate, boys.
For out of bounds deliberately. And he's called it. So Launceston go inside 50 again, Thorpe direction, but the kick was misguided on this occasion.
I reckon he just rushed.
It arrives too late. I thought Brown almost held that. Just stolen by Walsh, and he was tackled. Selfie might run out of tarmac here. He keeps it alive. No, he doesn't.
Ooh, I thought he did.
Well, now that could be against him. No.
Just looks in the Gillo direction. Gillo off his hands. It's picked up again by the little crummer.
Well done.
In Lucas.
That's terrific. His coach would love that because...
Dangerous area. Harper in the ruck against Siggins. Down for Paul Freeman. He gets out a shot. It will be a minor score for the Blues. They extend their lead to...
Rove the footy. Got it off to Bristow. Thought about giving it off. Has a shot himself. Flying shot. Tim Bristow. Launceston go again.
I didn't think it was his best kick off the boot, but it swung in nicely.
Quarter of footy they've played. Calls of ball on Hayden Smith. Walsh brushes a high tackle. Advantage will be paid for Sutton, who'll have a flying. Advantage will be paid for Sutton, who'll have a flying shot on goal. That could be a really good finish. Was it touched on the line? Umpire says posed enough to get it out to Williams. He'll send a long ball in towards 50 in the Gilby direction. Could he take it over the back? He got 3 bites at the cherry. They're calling the mark, and it's been paid.
I think
he might be too high.
Yeah, I think sloppy in his application of the tackle. Got Gilby high. He strolls in, makes no mistake as he kicks his first 2 in a row for Lauderdale. This game's a humdinger, boys.
Oh, he's always going to have...
He's off now for Siggins. Siggins, a little one, looking in the Boscott direction, hands off. Bell Chambers couldn't find the space.
Great tackle, Jake Smith.
Fantastic tackle from Smith, and he's rewarded Julie with a free kick.
Important for a 4 minutes.
Dropped by Sutton, but he's got time and space to think his way through it. Goes the short option to Elliott, who took the mark and was clobbered on the way down.
Is he going to play?
In the long sleeves. So when he comes, it didn't look great off the boot, but it swung back late. And it's a goal to Elliott. Lauderdale regain the lead here at Lauderdale.
Ball inside 50 to Thorpe, off his hands. Brown gets to it at the fall, wrapped up in a tackle. Ball up.
And that's a high tackle. Launceston, well, the advantage
that's not the one to take, though.
Might have been paid, and now it's going to be a ball in.
Term here from SkyBus Oval as the Bombers run out onto their home venue. They hold a slender 2-point lead as it stands over Launceston. Really fascinating second quarter after a bit of a lacklustre start. It was at 4 goals in the opening term. It sprung into life, and Launceston had the better of the second term in the end, but they're 2 points adrift. The game well and truly up for grabs with a half to play, Cam Brown.
We've got a contest, Damian Gill. Really looking forward to it. Perhaps, when you were driving down to SkyBus Oval?
Yeah, I think that's what they're running with.
That's what we are today on the coverage anyway, as the siren goes here to indicate we're not far off a start in the third quarter, but perhaps some pundits might have thought Lauderdale might have had a comfortable margin at half-time, but it's not to be. And a young Launceston group, many of them playing just their second game of TSL footy, have acquitted themselves really well, but they're going to be tested in the second half, you would think about, from a seasoned outfit in Lauderdale. Many of their players have had a better pre-season than the year before. I still think there's some upside on some of these players in the second half, particularly Bell Chambers, Boscott, Gilby, if they can get it into his direction. Heavey's another one. I thought Josh Williams was pretty good for them early. Karanua was dynamic whenever the footy was around him. Saunders probably went out of it in that second quarter. And Walsh and Franklin, they're going to have their moments too. But from a Launceston perspective, I thought you called it beautifully. Two of their most experienced players in Joby Harper and Mitch Thorpe were dominant. Bristow started to find the footy, and we went back a trip down memory lane, didn't we, with him, with just that agility, ability to find his way out of traffic. very busy player. And it's all set up for a really good contest in this second half.
Yeah, the start is all important, as it often is, but Launceston in particular really need to have a good start here in the third term, I sense, because they let Lauderdale back in the latter stages of that second quarter and lost their lead. I just think Lauderdale on their home deck, they'd fancy to run away with this despite only holding a 2-point lead as it stands. As you see the goal kickers, Mitch Thorpe a major factor with 4 goals. Joby Harper only the one, a really well taken one, but he's been heavily influential in the middle of the ground, really bustling around. You compared him to Paddy Cripps, Brownie, not a bad comparison. I reckon the way he's playing his
body
footy,
shape and his ability to find
he's looking good.
Space out of those stoppages. Pretty sure he did triathlons as a junior. Played with South Launceston, of course. Spent some time over in the mainland and just come back. One of the premier players in the competition.
Now, I'm reliably informed, gents, that Darren Winter is actually not coaching today, not over there. So it's Clint Brown, and Darren Winter is not here. So I'm wondering what's you've got the scoop.
A Palmer United convention, I'm led to believe. We all know that Darren Winter is throwing his hat into the political ring this season. So that, I believe, explains Darren Winter's absence.
There he goes. We've had the opening bounce of the third term.
Well, how many conventions are there in the season? That's what I'd be asking. Is that just the one?
Yeah, it's a fascinating development as it's off the hands of Smith, picked up by Bell Chambers. He's hooked. It'll be a free kick.
Loves to play on, doesn't he, Bell Chambers?
What? And he'll just act like he's wounded here and look to wheel around. That's generally what he does. Here he goes. Goes one way, then the other.
And this is the man. He could kick this
McGuinness loads up from outside 50.
There you go.
What a goal.
Yeah, well, it was dangerous, wasn't it? And we mentioned what he loves to do, Bell Chambers, is play on at all costs. Even in that stoppage situation or when it's stationary ball, when he got a free kick like that, he still wanted to be on the move. And he found probably one of the better users in the competition in Josh McGuinness. And he's kicked this one beautifully. They do carry to the left of the screen. That was from inside the square row.
There's probably 5 or 6 guys in the competition who you absolutely do not want to give space from that sort of range given their kicking prowess. And I reckon that McGuinness would be in that top 5 or 6.
Agreed, good call.
He's got an absolute laser-like boot as we go back into the middle. It was gathered by Bell Chambers, but he was gathered in a strong tackle and players will converge and pile on top of the footy. We'll have another boundary throw in. Umpire Nick Butler comes in to do the duties.
Only a couple of minutes in this quarter, but you just sense Lauderdale are going to put the foot to the pedal here early on in this quarter.
Don't argue, came from Burge. Ball spills out now in the Launceston direction. He's got a handball now through Miller. Burge swooped on the loose footy, back to McGuinness. He spun out of trouble. He looked to go forward and then eventually went backwards before throwing a high ball on his boot to half forward. Burge tried to meet it on the collect. Segan shoveled out a handball to Karen Ewer. His kick will have to be good, and it is.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
He finds Elliott.
Well, he's been that mobile lead-up forward for them, from what I've seen.
Well, in the
first look at him, Matt Elliott, he's kicked a couple. He's been handy.
In the absence of some of the more well-known forwards, Gilby has been pretty quiet today, but Elliott has stepped up into the breach, and tell you what, that looked all right off the boot, but just misses to the near side for a minor score for Lauderdale, who have the first 2 scores of this second half. One a goal, one a behind, of course, as Launceston resume things, and it'll be punched out of bounds on the outer side, right just beside the Launceston benches.
Launceston happy for Jacob Boyd to take the kick out. It's just a young player from Riverside.
The response vital here from Launceston. The opening goal of the term coming through Josh McGuinness. Saunders whacks it on the boot, looking in the Elliott direction, fisted away from him. At the fall is Vandervelde. He'll be able to mop up. He's helped over by Gilby. And clattering into the fencing.
As important as that big body in a team which is probably a little bit undersized, Vandervelde. He's able to get a reach in there, make it really hard for the opposition forwards.
So thrown in, Smith and Leadham. Leadham down. Picked up by Saunders on his boot. Elliott now shovels it out. Siggins looks at it. Harper swings it away. Well done by Gillo. Whacks it on the boot. Bounces. Thorpe almost. Bill Chambers picks up. Spots up Sutton. Got space and time. Looking at goal. Sutton. Well wide. Out on the full, in fact.
Ordinary finish there, but I want to harp on it, but you just sense that Lauderdale are up for a big 5 or 10 minutes here.
They are up. They've got their tails up as Casey Brown has the ball for Launceston. He'll bring it out of defence. He pokes this one pretty high. All the tools were in red and black. Shoveling out was Bristow. Pretty good. Finds Paul Freeman over the top now. Taylor just whacked it on the boot. Knew they were bearing down on him. Trickles out in front of the Lauderdale bench.
Well, they've worked their way up to the wing, Launceston. Haven't had a lot of the footy inside their forward 50 this quarter. I don't think they've been inside their boys.
Yet to register an inside 50. Thrown in again. Jostling. It's just clunked in the end by Smith. Whacks it on the boot. It's Vandervelde now tracking down Kieran Ewer. Sniffs it out. Fight on hands and knees. Well done by Bryce Walsh with a spin. Finds Franklin. Swings it inside 50. It's all blue except for Jacob Gilby. And he does well with the outnumber. Looking for Boscott. Picked up by Tyrrell. Swung in a tackle. Just through blue hands. Good wrap up there by Heavey. But high, says the umpire. That's a reliever for the Blues.
He's been a good player for them, hasn't he, for, 10 plus years now, Alex Heavey. 200 plus boys.
Yeah,
he's been at TSL level.
He's been one of those Lauderdale boys that have been at the club for such a long time. Walsh and Boscott and these guys as well have been at Lauderdale. They're stalwarts of the club and the competition now as Lauderdale, Launceston, I should say, get things moving through Smith. He's got Powerfreeman running out towards the boundary on the right half-forward flank. He looks inside, a little ball inside 50, almost met Killalea. He was wrapped up in the tackle, was forced to get rid of it. Players converge. Lauderdale get it out through Franklin, who just slaps it on the boot. Only as far as Brown, who did really well. The double spin and the handball off to Smith, and he finds a target inside 50. Take a bow.
Well, I'm trying to look for a comparison there. That was fantastic footwork. We've mentioned how much talent this kid's got. You saw it on display there. Just watch this. One spin, another spin.
Full washing machine.
And
again,
Barry Cable.
Is that a 540? I think Tony Hawk would be proud of that one.
That was fantastic.
More importantly, Jake Smith's got to kick this goal, doesn't he, for his team? Is it Jake Smith lining up? Paul Freeman, I should say.
A very, very good player. He just pushed it to the right-hand side, but a mark's been taken.
He just read it well, didn't he, JB Harper? He could sense straight away that he didn't quite get the connection on it on that occasion, Paul Freeman, and he just read it quicker off the boot, saw where the ball was heading, big frame, they couldn't get around him.
Harper's had a big say in this game. Line up for his second goal. He kicks a traditional drop punt and he's pushed that across the face. So Launceston miss a good chance to hit the scoreboard. Joby Harper misses the goal. So after a wonderful bit of work from Casey Brown in the middle of the ground, it was unbelievable to feed off the handball. Launceston unable to cash in as the big spike comes out on the wing and the ball spills out of bounds near the Lauderdale benches, where 7.5 minutes gone here. It's Lauderdale holding that slender advantage. 57 plays 49 here at Lauderdale Oval. The Rucks go at it, lead them only as far as Burge, who gathered cleanly, shoveled up a handball to Walsh. He couldn't win it out. There was a high tackle, and it'll go Launceston's way. I think that's the other
young Walsh. Yes, he played state under 16 boys. St Pat's boy.
He finds a target. It looks like Miller. Left half forward now for Launceston. What can they do with this entry? He's just going to send it long and strong. He'll be looking for Thorpe, who flew at the back, was unable to take the mark. It'll be mopped up down there by Bell Chambers, who sees something he likes on the outer side. I think it might have been Heavey, but he was unable to get hands to the ball, and it'll go out of bounds for a boundary throw-in.
So Launceston just a bit back here, but yet to put it on the scoreboard. Just 8 points in it. Off hands, lead them. Down for the runners. It was the youngster, Shug. Firing out a handball. Just socket in the air, I think, in the end by Francis.
Good mark.
It is a good mark by Denellen.
He's had his injuries over his career, Denellen. Love to see him get some continuity in his footy.
Often an agitator. He goes long and strong. Looking for Gillo. Great grab from the youngster.
Been good today.
Yeah, he has.
Watch this again. Just got a bit of separation.
Played a bit of footy at the level, hasn't he, for a 20-year-old now?
Last few years, Brown, he's sort of got a taster. He's in and out, but this might be the year that he really settles down in the squad and becomes a bit of a focal point for them. He's a likely type. He can put them away in between the big sticks. James Gillo crosses the paint of 50, gives it a ride, doesn't look goalward. Fisted off, it's not even gone through for a behind. Raglione now brings it out of defence. This is his target.
Horrible kick off the boot on that occasion. Denellen will set it up again now. He's either got to lower his eyes or just sit it up about 10 to 15 metres out in that dangerous spot. Give the forwards and the small forwards a chance if it does come to ground level. But it looks like he's going to have a shot at goal, boys.
Looks that way. Denellen. Harper probably the target here. It falls down. Red and black around it. They collide in to try and make something of it. Palfreyman over the top, no, rather Bristow. And it'll be a stoppage deep forward 50 for the Blues. Harper in the ruck. Takes it straight out of the ruck. Acrobatic, but offline. Offline.
Hit the post.
Hit the post. It was creative from Harper, trying to get something happening, but a minor score.
I reckon they've had the last 3 or 4 inside 50s here, Launceston. They've just got to get some reward for their effort here. They don't want it to get over the back, though.
Here's Francis for Lauderdale. Sees something inboard in Kerenua. Marks on his chest. Looks to play on immediately.
Great
Flares
kick.
it out wide on the left boot. It's a good one to Heavey. He's got a runner going past in Walsh, who hits the target in Burge. So Lauderdale now, kick to half forward. It's a measured build-up. Mark's taken by Ma.
Go to Siggins, I reckon.
He's looking in that direction. Siggins has the city flu. He almost got hands to it. He got 1 mitt to it, but couldn't quite bring it down. It's brought out of defence by Conway for Launceston. That's a wonderful kick to Killalea.
He's been busy.
So short one over the top was risky, but it was good enough. Last mark taken by Miller. So Launceston have it at half back. He just gets his ball to Palfreyman.
Good play, this man.
One of the guns, one of the midfield guns of the competition. Palfreyman sends a long ball in the Leadham direction. The big man flies, couldn't take the mark. McGuinness at the back, fed out a handball to Hill. He gave it back to Perkins, and now it's in the hands of McGuinness. He'll switch across the face of goal. He's got a man out there in Hill. Short ball now inside to Walsh. To Burge, sorry. Gee, I've done that a few times today. Out it comes again to the wing. Looking for Elliott. He couldn't take the mark. Big collision there through Ma. Just knocked over the head into the hands of Burge. He scrambles the footy forward. Kerenua pounces on the ball. What can he create here? He's got a runner outside in Siggins who sends the footy goalward. It looked okay, but off the
out of bounds
inside of the boot. It'll be out of bounds on the full.
They're
Launceston
away,
bring it in.
Launceston, if they can get it.
Here they go through Palfreyman. Measures a kick. Good defensive effort there by Raglione. Right in front of the commentary position. Came across and fisted away from Killalea.
Thought you were going to get a kick there, Gilly.
I thought I was as well. We've got a great view of the Bev show tossing this in. So the game's still well and truly up for grabs here at SkyBus Oval. Lauderdale 57, Launceston 50, and it comes.
That's a good throw-in.
Lead them. Off hands, Bristow there. Bustles in. Makes a bit of collision of it. Coming out was Walsh. Gives it to the opposing player of the same name. It's cut off from Rahill. Saunders now. Tracked down by Chug. Coming in was Thorpe. Clever from Alex Hill. Saunders, good lateral movement. Kicks long for Kiranua. over his head. Taylor's claimed a mark. I reckon there was grass in it, but he'll take it. Spots up something he likes. It's Chug. Chug now, this away, that away. Does well, does the youngster. A kick for Thorpe is centimetre perfect. He does well. Turns and burns. They'll wander on in through Bristow. That's as easy as you like for Launceston, rather. They cut the margin to just a minor score.
Well, that was a great build-up, wasn't it, from Launceston? Well done, neat finish in the end from Bristow. Important goal for them, though. Reduces the margin to 7 points. Young Chug involved there, Gilly.
Quite impressive, wasn't he, Chug?
He was good.
Just his first game today.
Zigged and he zagged and he ended up setting up a goal.
He's only 17. Showed some real poise on that occasion. Well done.
So I was just going to say, it's very rare that we pick the right game to go to for the live stream, and this is looking like an absolute beauty.
An astute choice. There's just 1 point in it. Lauderdale 9-3-57 lead Launceston 8-8-56. It's a belter unfolding here at Lauderdale Oval. Franklin, long ball inside 50 for Lauderdale. Siggins will track it to the boundary. It will need it to sit up for him, and it does. He evades the tackler as only Siggins can do. Kicks towards the mouth of goal, but it was offline for a minor score. Siggins is starting to lift as well. Launceston bring it in. They find Harper, who's had a truckload of the footy. He's got Seymour on short if he wants. Didn't see him. Look to go inside. Eventually he'll just poke a ball up towards the wing in the Palfreyman direction. It spills out of bounds again in front of the commentary position. We'll have another boundary throw-in.
It's a different look, isn't it, from Launceston? I mean, all teams have player turnovers, but you think Chase Jones, Dylan Riley, Riley Kelly-Mansell, Jamison House,
Jake Hines
is another one. Boyce, Sonny Whiting.
Really good names in that mix. It's been a free kick's been pushed.
I think it's going to be Karen Ewer.
Yeah, Karen Ewer got a push in the back, I think, from Tyrrell.
It was conversely Lauderdale. Mosquito we saw running around last year. Stanley, another one. Now, what's happened?
There's been another whistle. I think it might be downfield, and Siggins is going to be the recipient here. It might be against Tuttle or Vandervelde. Both are pleading their case, but I think it's all going to be elementary. Siggins is going to line up for his first goal and to extend this Lauderdale lead out to 8 points. Not too sure what it was for. I had my eye on the ball up at the wing when it was in the hands of Karen Ewer. Something has occurred off the ball. The umpire has adjudged a Sam Siggins free kick. What a player this guy is. He's got it all. Fantastic build, fantastic player. In he comes, and Siggins can kick those ones in his sleep. He puts it through post high. Lauderdale extend their lead, and Siggins has his first.
Well, he's always been a versatile player. He can go forward and kick goals. He's played as that mobile ruckman in more recent times at TSL level. When he was drafted, he played predominantly centre-half back for the Mariners in the old days before going across to Adelaide, but always had beautiful balance, particularly good when he can run up and jump up and get a look at it from a mark point of view. And he's mobile. Always been a deep, long kick. And important goal there for Lauderdale. Gets him out to the 8 points, as you say.
Supreme athlete is Siggins. Big goal there. Down off the hands of Leedham, back in the middle. Prize for holding it from Boscott. Nothing coming. At the back was Saunders. Being creative. Looks long into the 50. The target arriving was Elliott. Off his hands. Vandervelde interrupted out the back as Bellchambers. Oh, he could have helped himself. Maybe a little too hurriedly kicked it, and it's offline.
Creative hands from Elliott just to give Bellchambers that opportunity. He normally kick those.
So they extend the lead only by 1 point. 9 points as it stands. The game's still well and truly up for grabs as Launceston look to move it out of defence. It was Brown who tried to shake the tackle, caught one high. He'll get a free kick for his troubles. So Brown now been pretty good. He saw his washing machine in the middle of the ground. Mockers from the commentary position there, but a free kick will save Launceston, and it will go the way of Bristow.
That's probably where the improvement comes from Launceston, doesn't it? Gillo, Brown, Tyrrell, these sorts of players, been in the system for a while.
So Bristow looking for the big ruckman Leedham, swatted away from him. Well picked up and dropped off, but Denellen interrupts. Swung in a tackle, will be a stoppage. Big Hayden Smith there making his presence felt. So often the case.
I haven't called Boscott's name too much today.
He's been quiet. Can be a bit of an enigma. Probably hands around the neck or holding. Pick your free kick there, but it's going the way of Hayden Smith. Bit of afters there between Leadham and Walsh, but Smith will eventually take his kick. So Lula with ball in hand. An unlikely type is Hayden Smith, but a very, very capable player. Powers down the line, looking for Elliott, I think. That's a great grab. Really sharp grab.
He's impressed me, Conway.
He's done enough, hasn't he?
He has. I reckon he's only 18 years of age.
So Conway looking for big Leadham. He's just shoved off it at the crucial moment. Williams now through hands. They'll move it pretty well here through Francis. But he kicks to no one in particular. Hodge can pick it up just inside the boundary. Great smother there from Sutton. Doing the 1%ers. Good hands over the top from Elliott. Now Siggins on a burst. Kicking goalward. Trickling. Offline.
They'll quickly play on here, Ryan Tyrrell.
Geez, he looks good, Siggins, in full flight. He just lopes, glides over the surface of the ground.
He had some players on them to his right, but chose to go on his preferred left side.
Tyrrell kicks to an outer side, looking for the big man in Leadham. He was unable to take the mark. Lauderdale emerged with the footy. Kick inside 50s. A good one to Franklin. Took it on the second bite. So Nat Franklin, he's been pretty good today through the middle of the ground. He'll line up for his first goal. Lauderdale look to extend a 10-point margin out to 16.
It's been a good play in Nat Franklin over the last couple of years at TSL level.
So Franklin, that is not great.
That's a bizarre kick of the footy.
Well, he's one of the premier players in this competition, Nat Franklin, and that's an absolute nightmare from him. That's just tumbled off his toe for a minor score. So Launceston breathe a sigh of relief. One of the best players in the competition dishes that up. They get things going immediately, but they're going to be dealing with another inside 50 here. Hodge will meet it first for Launceston out at the boundary line. Whistle comes, and it's over the line for a boundary throw-in. That was bizarre, boys.
It was. It kicked off the shin, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't think it got anywhere near the boot, to be honest.
Yeah, not a whole heap of leather on leather. Rucks go at it. Smith just took it for himself. The big man, he's been taken. Well, I thought he was claimed holding the ball, but of course the new rule means it probably was more likely a throw. Tyrrell, the recipient, kicks Launceston up towards a wing. Fly come at the back from Gillow, unable to take the mark. They'll emerge with the footy though. Bristow gathered cleanly. Couldn't work out a handball. Now it's Walsh. Fed it off to Sutton. McGuinness just rode a bump. Gave it back to Sutton. Lauderdale inside 50 once again. And it's all Launceston. Although the mark was spilled, Bell Chambers flew. Was he held after he got rid of it? Umpire said no, play on. Lauderdale working. Now it's a throw.
Yeah, it's a shame because Tadu, I thought, worked his way back into the hole there, but he dropped the mark, unfortunately. And he's been...
Probably should have got a free kick there anyway, Bell Chambers, but I think this was the one.
Yeah, he grabbed the one hand, didn't he? And in the end, Jacob Gilby, who's been pretty well held today.
This would be his second though, Brown. He's still doing his job, isn't he?
He does.
That's forward pressure. They're the ones the coach loves. The tackles inside 50, holding the ball or throw decision, incorrect disposal, whatever you like to call it. And Jacob Gilby, a player of his class, shouldn't make any mistake, and he puts it through.
Yeah, you'd think he's sort of setting up for a 50-goal plus season, Jacob Gilby.
Well, he kicks his second. Lauderdale extend this lead after the Nat Franklin miss. Gilby makes no such mistake. He kicks his second for the game.
Yeah, that hurts a little bit.
Look good.
Yeah, they haven't been out to this margin for a while, I wouldn't have thought, Gilly. 17 points.
Yeah, it was a good call from you, Brownie. Tuttle had the set.
He did, he just missed it.
I don't know whether he just blinked at the wrong time. He just had to take the mark because Gilby, to be truthful, read the ball pretty poorly in flight as it was coming in, but it's a funny game, isn't it? He's on the end of the goal, the finish. So Walsh now finds out hands. Sutton, delightful, straight into the arms of Elliott. He's presented pretty well today.
I agree. He just leads up at the ball carrier, and if he doesn't mark it, what has impressed me about his game today is creativity by hand. He looks like he's got good vision in traffic and some good footy EQ.
So Matt Elliott kicking for his third of the day. Gives it a ride from just inside 50. To be truthful, never looked like missing. So Lauderdale jump out to a very, very handy buffer here at SkyBus Oval. They're going to be hard to chase down.
Well, that's his third. He's the leading goal kicker on the ground for Lauderdale, I believe. With that one, they're out to 23 points. Some danger signs now, I think, for the visitors. Launceston need to respond here deep into the third quarter.
It's a game-high 23-point lead for Lauderdale after what was such an impressive second term from Launceston. It's been all Bombers thus far in this third term. 23 points to the good are the Bombers. And Elliott, I think they found one in Elliott. He looks pretty good.
Really like this game.
Delivery wasn't bad either from Sutton. As they start to get on top now in the middle of the ground, there is that man Sutton who gets another clearance. Elliott underneath it. It just went a little bit early. Kerry Ewers swoops on the ball, went to ground, gathered his feet, went one way, went the other. He zigged, he zagged, he missed.
He had his hand up, didn't he? Like he kicked it.
He thought he had it, and then at the last minute put his head in his hands. And I'll tell you what, the car horns were going.
It was one of the better points you'll see this year.
As Gillo feeds it out. Harper tries to work Bryce Walsh off it. Walsh good enough to steer it towards McGuinness, but bustling in was Tyrrell. They're away now here, Launceston. Seymour finds Paul Freeman, dropped it at the crucial moment. He's got Taylor there riding shotgun if he wants to use him. No, goes himself. A ball bouncing through. Wow. Fantastic.
It was a great goal, wasn't it? You called it, Gilly. I thought he had Taylor on the outside to give it off to, but he had the confidence in his own ability, and his footy smarts and craft around goal was on display. He just watched that. Turned his man inside out again, which was terrific.
Had that little burst of speed.
He did.
Just give him enough time to steady, didn't it?
And they needed it because they've cut the margin to 18 points. And their effort and their pluck has been prominent throughout this game.
Fletcher Seymour, he hasn't had a lot of the footy, but when he has, he's done some good things.
Lowered his eyes. We saw him make his debut last year for Clarence via OHA.
Really handy player, Seymour. He was playing Old Scholars only a couple of years ago. So Lauderdale now in their front half of the ground. Williams applies a tackle, does enough to work the footy loose to Bill Chambers, who sends in an absolute laser.
That is,
Elliott on the end of it.
That's classic Phil Bell Chambers, isn't it? Powerful, strong in the hips, burst out and hit it lace up to a man who continually presents up at the ball carrier. These guys are hard to match up on the modern game.
Stephen Silvani couldn't defend a kick like that. In comes Elliott, who lets fly from 50, and I tell you what, that's gone all of 65, I reckon, on the fly. Elliott kicks another.
Well, he's been a terrific pickup for them. Just his second game at this level, Matt Elliott.
4 goals.
Coming across from Smithton, what a terrific pickup for them.
Lauderdale seem to find these guys.
I think that's what you've got to do. You've got to look at local competitions. The Tier 2 we saw last week. We saw the Tigers and North Launceston, and they both blooded some players that have been prominent in the lower competitions. Smart recruiting and list management.
Goes to show that there are some diamonds in the rough in the lower leagues, and those that take their chance at TSL level reap the benefits more often than not. As Launceston now look to go forward. Bristow worked one over his head. He had Miller running forward. He's wrapped up in a big Perkins tackle, and he's driven into the ground.
So as quickly as Launceston cut the margin, Lauderdale extended again. Back up it goes. Thorpe, the back of his hand, falls for Bristow. He's manufactured a shot. It doesn't quite have the journey. Tipped over for a behind. So a minor score for Launceston. They need a goal, you'd suspect, before this quarter rounds out to really give them a chance as they bring out a defence. Lauderdale punch down from Leadham.
The game's opened up since quarter time, hasn't it? It's really tight early on. People just couldn't find any time and space with the footy. They were closed down, but foot skills and some smart forward plays been the highlight for mine since quarter time.
So Leadham over the back, but Franklin good enough to get onto it. Saunders now from Marr. A bit of space for Burge. Picks up and fires off a handball to Gilby. Gilby looking in the Hill direction. He's floated forward.
Yeah, that's good coaching, isn't it?
Alex Hill hands over the top. Siggins into an open goal. Goose step. Back for Hill. Hasn't worked out like he would have hoped. Now goes back for Elliott. Why not? He won't miss.
I didn't mind that because you see in those situations sometimes they blow it with composure and Hill. You watch him here, plays on, but unfortunately, he almost might have lost his bearing, Siggins, and that's why you'd think he was just about to kick it on the outside of the foot, but then realised they backtracked, they were predictable to their teammates.
So the siren sounds on quarter number 3. Matt Elliott being the player of this quarter. He goes out to the right, gives it a ride, looking for goal number 5, wrong side of the upright. A minor score, but a good quarter for the Lauderdale Bombers.
It was, and they extend what was a 2-point lead at half-time out to 24 points. Just handy, I would have thought, at three-quarter time. And you mentioned Matt Elliott, a terrific quarter from him. They just looked like they came out a bit harder, a little bit more determined in that third quarter. And as plucky as Launceston have been, Lauderdale have been able to get on top. It started with this one, didn't it? Josh McGuinness, we knew he had the distance in his leg when he found some time and space, and he duly converted there for Lauderdale. That was his best quarter for mine, Rowie, Bell Chambers.
Yeah, and we just saw there when he does get that time and space, like we mentioned before, he really does make things happen. He's a bull at the best of times, and that's in a contested situation, let alone when he's got some room to move. So, great quarter from Bell Chambers. I thought Kieran Ewer did some really nice things, but Matt Elliott, they found one in him. He's kicked 4 goals. He had a chance for a 5th as well, and he's caused numerous headaches forward for Lauderdale thus far.
They've really broken the back of Launceston in that quarter. It's been an arm wrestle prior to that, but they've just kicked out to a very handy 24-point lead, and you'd have to fancy them to bring it home from here as we see one of Matt Elliott's goals. There's a good boot on him too, doesn't he? That one, he kicked it from about 50 and it kept sailing. So you're right, Rowie, they've found one there, and they've got a lot of avenues to goal, and I reckon that's the key difference between these two sides as we see one of the goals of the day. Paul Freeman just put on the afterburners and steered one home. But Launceston, they're still very thought-focused, and it makes them quite predictable inside 50, whereas Gilby's been pretty quiet today after kicking 6 last week, but he hasn't bobbed up and others have. Boscott's been pretty quiet, and a Matt Elliott bobs up, so Kieran Ewer hasn't seen a heap of it since quarter time. So it's a really lively forward mix for Lauderdale, isn't it? And they've still got players to come back in as we see the goal kickers there. 4 from Elliott, Kieran Ewer with 2. Gilby been pretty quiet but still put his 2 away. And singles to Saunders, Sutton, as well as Walsh, McGuinness and Siggins. The major goal kicker for Launceston, Thorpe with 4. And Bristow been pretty handy. A bit part player in terms of involvement. Hasn't had a heap of it, but when he's had it, looked very, very good. So 2 goals from him. JB Harper being terrific with 1. We'll have a brief break now and be back for the final quarter. Still all grabs here at SkyBus Oval. So back for the final term. Lauderdale in control of the contest, 4 goals adrift. Can Launceston reel them in is the question. Long huddle here for Lauderdale.
It's going to be a tough ask, I would have thought, away from home. It's a 5-2 quarter to the advantage of the home side on that occasion, and it's never easy away from home, particularly a young group we mentioned in that quarter. Just the new look, Launceston, and the number of senior players, some of their better players that have moved on from the club since the end of last year. But what that does is provide some great opportunity for some of the youngsters today who have acquitted themselves well. But they're up against a seasoned group now who can probably sense that this margin could get out to 45, 50 points plus. Let's hope it doesn't get that way for the sake of the contest and Launceston Footy Club.
You know, they've probably been better than that, I reckon, Brownie. They've been pretty competitive, really. I've been impressed with what I've seen from the Blues overall.
Sometimes with young teams, it's just that last 5-10 minutes of every quarter, and you can get really hurt. Doesn't do justice to your effort. I've been really impressed with Launceston's effort around the contest today. And they were pretty good last week.
So in the middle, umpire Nick Butler bounces into the final term here. He'll do that again.
Ban the bounce.
Put it away.
Well, we've been
we've
been campaigning on the stream for a while now.
Just don't understand. With all the things that change in footy, that's the one thing that remains.
Bin the bounce as Siggins brings it down from the ruck. He's played pretty much everywhere, Siggins, today. As Denellen just works his way through traffic, finds Paul Freeman looking for Thorpe, cutting across. Really well done by Francis. The youngster Chug bounces off a tackle, in trouble, and holding the ball is Perkins.
Took on the tackler.
He did indeed. It will be a Tyson Miller ball. See what he can do from this sharp angle.
He just found no room. It was a good tackle, nonetheless.
So Miller sees what the wind's doing.
Sometimes the modern player likes to run around, just open up the angle a little bit. We'll see what he does here.
Just got aware of it.
He looks like he's going to fire for goal. Drop punt on its way, just wrong side of the upright. A minor score.
Looked pretty good off the boot, but just misses to the near side. Does Miller. Back to a 23-point game. Launceston with all the work to do. That's an ordinary old kick out of full back. That's off the shin. Just bounce inside for a throw-in.
It seemed... Oh, no.
I think it was Hill who had the kicking duties.
It was a real helicopter, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was tumbling over end on ends. Launceston get away with one. So in comes the ruck. Smith might have had his man in Harper high, but it didn't matter. Taylor comes away with the footy, screws one around the corner. It was over the head of Chug. Perkins came in hard, couldn't gather cleanly. The handball's fed out in the Harper direction. He tried to straighten up outside of the right boot. Joby Harper, you star!
That was outstanding, wasn't it? It was a 10% chance for most players, wasn't it? Hard up against the boundary line. And then an inside-out banana. Didn't have a lot of time to think. And actually off the boot, it never looked like missing, did it?
Kicks his second goal in absolute style. You just knew that he had the big sticks inside. He straightened up and did the business with the outside of the right.
Also, James Gillo's work to feed it out to him was terrific. He's had a really good game, young Gillo. So back in the middle, are they going to bounce or throw it here, boys? Umpire Sam Bridges, pressure on. He's got to deliver here. Oh, that's lovely.
Well executed.
It's down off the hands of Siggins. He's met by a couple of Blues. Finds Bellchambers on a burst. A little kick. Wrong team.
So they've got to be brave, Launceston.
He finds Tyrrell of the opposition. He's looking for Paul Freeman. Bristow over the top. Brings it down. Paul Freeman in a spot of bother.
Friendly fire.
Collected, by his own teammate, Sutton. Interrupts a forward movement from the Blues and picks out Kirranyua. Kirranyua, a little one over the top. Very easily finds Boscott, who got separation on Vandervelde. And he fancies himself from...
Well, he hasn't been able to impose himself on the game like he normally would, either through stoppages in midfield or up forward. He gets an opportunity early in this last quarter.
Well, left half forward, really hugging the boundary. Boscott, on the paint of 50, just goes out to the right to get a little more distance. It hangs up in the air. Harper tried to swat it through. Didn't get enough on it. Still there and up for grabs. Coming through was Tyrrell. Still bustling on through. I think underneath all that was Burge. Or Gilby, rather. It's going to be a ball up.
So 87 plays 71 here at Lauderdale Oval. It's the Bombers in front on their home deck as it's squeezed out of defence by Joby Harper. Tumbling ball. Gillo had some work to do. And it goes out of bounds.
Well, last week, Launceston were right in the contest till three-quarter time, and Glenorchy got over the top of them with a big last quarter. So another challenge here for Launceston in the final 30 minutes.
So in it comes. Kirranyua might have got one high on the outside of the pack. Harper has it at ground level. He's claimed in a Saunders tackle. Umpire says, give it to me, please. I'll throw it up. Siggins says, I'll do the ruck duties. Harper won the tap. Out it comes. Outside runner in Sutton for Lauderdale. Squaring ball. A couple of players will fly. Tuthill at the back. Got it off to a runner in Smith. He's got a kick around the corner. He was given one as he kicked it. Umpire said, play on. No, it's going to come back. The advantage was almost called, but free kick will be brought back.
Good common sense umpiring that, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Smith probably touched lucky. His kick wasn't fantastic. He copped a little jab there from Gilby.
Gilby wrapped him around the belly. So Boyd has it here at halfback for Launceston. Short ball's a good one into Tyrrell. So just slow the pace down. He's got Bristow short if he wants him. Goes beyond that in the Dunellen direction. He had a contest to make with Sutton. He did pretty well. Both players kept their feet. Dunellen grabbed the ball and was ripped down by Sutton. Walsh has it now. Feeds it out wide by hand to Kirranyua. He can get and go. Takes one bounce. Takes two bounce. Look to kick inside 50. Sold some candy. Centering ball towards goal. And it'll spill over for a minor score. He had Saunders on. He just couldn't quite complete the mark.
It's a good spoil from Seymour, but a strange kick back. I think it was Tyrrell to go long and out to the one-on-one when Bristow was free in the middle. But the Blues will have another look at it here. Here is that man, Bristow. Just puts a spiralling punt up in the air, and the only one under it was Jay McGuinness. He looks inside, finds his fellow skipper in Walsh. Walsh almost for Boscott, brings it down. Siggins involved, paddles it along. Taylor just inside the boundary, looks to turn it around. Couldn't find the Walsh on his side, finds the Walsh on the other side. He looks for his lookalike in Burge, eventually finds him. Not his best kick, but good enough to find Franklin. Fakes a handball, eventually gives it sharp hands from Bellchambers, then to Burge. Gets a kick away, offline, minor score.
There's just too much space then for Lauderdale. Launceston needed to close that down. A couple of times they've...
It's an 18-point lead.
Smith brings it in to Harper. He kicks up beyond a wing. They've got players out the back here. Lauderdale knocks it forward, only as far as Hill, who did really well, evaded the traffic. Gave it to Burge, got it back. Now to Walsh in the middle of the ground, who's really starting to rack him up. Back to Franklin. They've got their handball game really up and running now as Perkins hits Elliott. He wheels and goes. Kick inside 50. Who will get there first? Looks like Mal Trapp, who's been sent forward and he's been pinned holding the ball. Bit off a little bit more than he could chew, the backman, and Boyd wraps him up and wins himself a free kick.
Been pretty quiet, Trapp. Second game at TSL level.
So Boyd kicks to a contest. Siggins couldn't quite bring it down. Seymour's there. Siggins went after it again and just runs it over the line. We'll have a boundary throw in commentary side. 8.5 minutes gone. It's 89 to 70, a 19-point lead to Lauderdale here.
Yeah, Nick's goal, pretty important in the context of this game and indeed the last quarter.
So in it'll come once again. Siggins won the tap down, only as far as Taylor, squeezed out a ball. It was really nicely pounced upon by Chug, who hit the short kick. I'm not sure if it was 15. Umpire said yes. Thorpe wheels around, kicks long inside 50. He's got Leadham deep, who'll fly. Almost took the mark. Nice punch from behind from Smith. Beautifully roved now by Burge. You got the handball off to the look-alike Walsh. Gee, they've combined a few times today. Here's Hill to Bell Chambers in the middle of the ground. His handball chopped off now by Tyrrell. Wrapped up in the big Burge tackle. Chance again now for Launceston as they regain possession. Seymour was really silky. Finds a man out wide in Killalea. He looks to go inside, opts for the short option, finds Powerfriman on the bounce. He'll get it back now. Centering ball inside 50. Or Lauderdale, Walsh chops off.
Just not the inside 50 kick they're after on that occasion. They're pressing here, Launceston.
Some really good footy from Lonnie in there, but you're right, Cam, just that
well
last
done.
kick. Good work there by Chug. He's done some nice things. Maybe around the neck. Cries for it. No free kick coming as Harper wrapped up Franklin.
That was important, wasn't it, from young Chug, the tackle on Siggins. Good endeavour from the young man.
In the Devils squad, young Chug. So Siggins paddles down, pushed away, did Franklin. He finds McGuinness. McGuinness throws it on the boot. Saunders arriving, paddles it along. Trupp back for Kieran Newer. Kieran Newer to Trupp. Trupp looking over the top. Nice hands. He finds Elliott. The dangerous Elliott. Steers it inboard. Finds Gilby. Off his chest. Tuttle does pretty well. Down at the feet was Elliott though. Back for Trupp. I think he was legged, Elliott.
Yep.
He's going to get another kick at goal.
They've been busy right throughout the game.
Matt Elliott will be kicking for a handful here as we see the replay. It's good work from Tuttle. Fires this one out, and we'll see Elliott, I think was legged. Yeah, he was. As Elliott now fires for his fifth. Been pretty reliable in front of the sticks. Gives it a right off the woodwork. A minor score.
Had a shot for goal in the three-quarter time siren, so he could have easily had half a dozen today, Rowie. And really important for them.
4 goals, 2, I think he's kicked today.
So an even 20-point lead here.
So the Blues, what can they conjure in the second half of this final term? Long ball won't result in much good fortune for them as it falls back into the hands of Francis. Now it's Marr. He flares it out wide to Smith, who's playing the role of quarterback. Not a role he's overly accustomed to, I wouldn't have thought, but he hits the target nicely in Burge. Lauderdale now go forward. And all on his own in Francis at half forward. Mark's been paid. Found some space. Looks to go inside. Opens up the angle. Long ball now inside 50. Gilby was there to meet it hard. It fell off the hands to Kieran Newer. He went one way then the other. Not his finest ball as he was looking for a target inside 50. It was Sutton. Gave off the handball to Walsh. Gets onto the left boot. Kicks toward a pocket. And nice mark brought down by Trupp.
Well, this is important for him. We mentioned he probably hasn't been able to have the influence on the game that he would have liked, and there's a good contested mark, wasn't it? Good kick from Walsh, just give your forward a chance in a one-on-one, and he stood up. That was a nice vertical leap, wasn't it, from a standing start almost. It would trup.
Ground, the big trup. He'll go back. And look to kick his first goal. Further extend this Lauderdale lead. Umpire had to do a bit of work, but in the end, it was good. And Lauderdale skip out to 26-point leaders here at Lauderdale Oval. And Launceston with a mountain of work to do now.
Yeah, it makes it hard now. 26 points. The 9th individual goal kicker for Lauderdale, which should please their stand-in coach today, Clinton Brown. Taking over from Darren Winter. Looks like he's going to get the job done for his mate today.
They're going to be hard to catch from here. 26 points. Lonnie have been pretty good. Lauderdale just that touch better today at Lauderdale Oval. Look at Big Leadham just bursting away. The big fella gets on the boot. Chug now tries to get it going. Cut off by Franklin. Then Ma. Running into trouble is McGuinness. It's going to be a free kick against Bristow, going the way of Ma. Holding man. Inside. He finds Franklin. Interesting option.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Manages to get out a kick and finds Sutton. He's done some nice things today, Sutton, when he's had time and space.
Been really good.
He's got both on this occasion. Looking for Smith. Great grab. Tuttle over the top. Tuttle this way, that away, bounding away from his opposition in Gilby. Just sets too much of a task for young Chug. McGuinness now. Spots up Franklin. He'll find Ray Hill. So Ray Hill, Gilby's got separation on his man. Does not go that way, looking more goalward. Boscott arrives, brings it to ground. The runners are all blue though. And it's Harper who powers, looking for Chug to do a bit. Brings it to ground, but red and black all around him. Sutton again. Sutton loads up. Inboard, Kiranua. Offhand, Saunders almost. It's there for Bird. Kiranua again. Tries to get by a couple, ran into trouble. Ball up inside 50 for the Bombers.
Well, the supporters were crying for a free kick. I must admit, to the naked eye, I thought it was pretty good umpiring. But
yeah, I agree. I think he went in head first, probably searching for the over the shoulder, and it wasn't paid. So good umpiring. Nick Butler, up it goes again. Mark taken in defence by Smith in Launceston colours. He'll kick beyond 50, outer side. Burge and Pelfreman out there. They'll go one-on-one. Big tackle was laid. There's been a whistle. In fact, it was holding the man. And we'll go Launceston's way to Pelfreman. Been pretty good today, Pelfreman, for Launceston. Kicked a really nice goal.
He's worked into the game, I reckon.
Yeah, he started slowly. High ball now towards 50. Bell Chambers went back. Got a fist on it. Didn't quite edge it out. In fact, he did in the end.
Free kick, I reckon.
He ripped Walsh off the ball without it.
Not his best moment there, because he actually spoiled what would have been a Perkins mark, I reckon. And, the follow-up tackle. So, Launceston with a bit to do here, Rowie.
Chance now for Walsh as he puts Launceston inside 50. It's all red and black down there on the last line, though. And they'll clear it out through Hill. Long ball beyond 50. Taken there by Burge. He was ripped off the footy. Walsh arrives. Evades a tackler. In fact, he's been pinged for deliberate. Yeah. So he went for the boundary. He got rid of Taylor, but he found the boundary. And the umpire said he did so deliberately as
Toby Lucas.
The youngster in the helmet, Toby Lucas, who kicked a really nice roving goal earlier in the game. Centering ball now, looking for Gillo. Couldn't quite take the mark. Perkins is there. He gathered the footy. The umpire said it was too high. So free kicks are flowing in this little passage of play. Perkins done some nice things coming into this team. He just sends it back the other way. Pack of players form. Nobody able to take the mark. Vandervelde gathers cleanly. Feeds out a handball to Hodge. Kick was affected. Bouncing ball inside 50 now. Brown unable to gather the footy. Bristow emerges with it. Turns inboard. Kicks centering ball. McGuinness had his name written all over it, and he's got players out.
Yeah, he's looked better and better as the game's gone on. Josh McGuinness found more time and space.
As has this man, Sam Siggins. Just leaves a little bit on the kick and invites in Conway. Makes a contest of it. Sutton now tries to feed out the back. Ray Hill on hands and knees. Sutton again. Spinning around a kick. It'll bounce in vacant space. First onto it was Tyrrell. He picks it up and paddles. Finds Smith, who runs into trouble. Couldn't quite get it away. Coming in was Ray Hill. Tackle without it. Play goes on. Williams wrapping up Tyrrell in a tackle. He throws it out. Play keeps going here. Burrowing him was Denellen. It'll be a ball up.
Yeah, what are we, 18-minute mark of this, the last quarter, so a 26-point lead to the home side. Shaping up 2 from 2 for them.
The last couple of years have made 2 grand finals and had 2 bad starts, so I wonder what 2019 has in store for Lauderdale. They've looked the goods. Bell Chambers tries to get away. Couldn't quite. Went back for Perkins. He finds out handball. Francis. Interesting. But finds Sutton nonetheless. Then to Williams. One of his better games, I reckon. Young Williams. Picks out Ray Hill. Almost brings it down. Smith with a timely fist. Siggins now. Gets it to Hill. Hill out the back to Saunders. Back over for Siggins. He's gone. Smith a little toe. Straight to Smith of the opposing number. He went for the big barrel. Didn't happen for him. Vandervelde wrapped up and ran into traffic and ball up.
It was a low-flying missile, wasn't it?
Just let fly, did Hayden Smith.
You mentioned Williams. He doesn't do much wrong, does he?
No, he's always been a good runner, and if he can find some time and space, that's his go.
As Burge tries to bustle his way through. He'll come out now through Denellen. He combines with Smith through hands. A little one over the top. Well, cut off by Francis.
Been okay as well.
He's around the old number of Ryan Wiggins.
He is indeed. Ryan Wiggins not at the club at this point in time. He powers this one forward. Francis. Boss got the target. Tipping away. The big ruckman Leadham picked it up. Denellen now looking for Chug. Makes a contest of it. Gillo couldn't quite get it. It's stuck in between his legs and went out for a throw in.
Just looking ahead, 7 days' time, boys. Lauderdale return here to play the Tigers, and Launceston on the road against North Hobart.
Big 2-week road trip for the Blues. 20 minutes gone in this one. It's Lauderdale by 26 points, taken cleanly out of the ruck by Smith. He couldn't effect the disposal. High up and under from Taylor in Launceston colours. It's picked up by Walsh, who fires off a handball in the Sutton direction. He evades the Taylor tackle off to Smith, who got it off to that man Williams, who sends a high ball inside 50. Pack of players will form. Nobody able to take the mark. Big contest between Tudhill and Boscott. Handball shove it out to Hill. Couldn't take it cleanly. Players go to ground. Tyrrell in there, paddles it out. Smith, and he probably went down a little bit easy, did he, the big fella?
It's going to be Boscott free kick, I think, high as play goes on. So he will be made to bring it back.
Yep.
Well,
he's been quiet, Boscott.
He has. I think the upside for Lauderdale, boys, you don't win premierships in April, do you? And they're nowhere near their best footy, as you wouldn't want to be in round 2.
Boscott runs around outside of the right boot.
Missed a lot.
But you've just got to get wins in the bank early on. And they look like they're going to notch up win number 2.
So without their coach, who's delving into the world of politics, Darren Winter, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And that's a horrible kick.
He couldn't have picked him out any better, right?
Bryce Walsh just said, thank you, I'll take that one, please. And he passes off to Saunders.
He's gone out of the game a bit, Alex Saunders. He looked lively early on.
He certainly did. Kicked a really nice goal, did some fantastic things. They probably put a little bit more time into him. They wouldn't have known much about him coming into this one, Launceston. They certainly found out what he's capable of. So Saunders lines up for his second goal of this afternoon, and he's just pulled it to the right-hand side.
He's just flashed in and out, hasn't he, Saunders?
Looks like he's that type of player too, that's going to find pockets of space and do some damage.
So Jake Smith from out of full back. He's looked long in the Seymour direction. Punched away from Ma. He's trickled over the back, though, and invited in Paul Freeman. Great contest indeed. Paul Freeman again goes hard. Gillo now. He's just ridden from behind by Heavey, but out the back goes Paul Freeman. Clever. Thorpe now. Fisting. No one in anywhere near it, really, for Launceston. It was all Lauderdale, red and black, as far as the eye could see. You could see what Thorpe was trying to do, but unfortunately the cavalry didn't arrive as Sutton shakes off a tackle. Looking for Elliott. He's been terrific. Takes a grab and off he goes. Good tackle by Vandervelde. Harper now just pulls his kick a little bit. Raglione, away he goes. Looking in the Boscott direction. He'll arrive. He's got Williams. Fires out the handball. Over the top for Burge. Burge doesn't mind goals. Looks in board. Gilby. There's a whistle. It's going the other way, or is it going to Gilby? He marches on in and puts it through. He's third of the game.
Yeah, that's 9 already for the season, and we saw Taylor Whitford kick a bag. He's already got 2 or 3, I believe, in the game up north against Clarence. So those two you'd think had shot to the top of the leaderboard in the TSL goal-kicking race, but you'd think he's smart enough, Rowie, if he plays 18 roster games inside the forward 50 predominantly this year. He's got a 50-goal season plus for mine.
Well, we've mentioned it multiple times. He hasn't played a game that's going to put him in the votes today, but he's kicked his 3 goals, and that's it. Get 2 or 3 every week from Jacob Gilby, then you're absolutely well on your way. He's done exactly that today. So back in the middle, 34 points the margin now in favour of Lauderdale. 25 minutes gone as young Lucas met it well. Now it's Leedham with the ball. Just a tumbling one inside 50. Some holding going on. Thorpe tracks it back towards the square. Walsh going after it for Launceston. He's on hands and knees. Fighting hard still. Umpire just lets it go and a whistle eventually comes.
He's battled pretty hard, I think. The coach today for Launceston had a purple patch in the second quarter where he really got on top, but just hasn't been able to find that separation.
Here he is taking it out of the ruck and has a flying shot on goal and just misses.
But still a very dangerous player. And he just hasn't got the supply that he would have liked in the second half from his team.
No, one of the superstars of the comp, that's for sure, Mitch Thorpe. Can certainly hold his head high. Short one comes in to Bell Chambers, who's very casual. McGuinness gets it back. So Lauderdale, there it is. So a 33-point win to Lauderdale here at Lauderdale Oval. They're 2 from 2 on the season. A fantastic start to the year for the Bombers. Launceston made them work for it, but in the end, it was all red and black here at SkyBus Oval.
Yeah, look, well done. And they did what they had to do, didn't they? They weren't at their best, and you wouldn't expect to be in round 2. But when you're at home, you've just got to chalk up the wins. And Launceston made them work for it. I was really impressed with their endeavour and effort. There were a number of players just new at the level. Probably the first road trip for them in terms of playing at TSL senior level. So I didn't think they were disgraced today, Gilly, by any stretch. But full credit to Lauderdale. When they needed to go, they did. And highlighted by a number of different goal kickers. We're seeing a number of them on screen. I think we had, from memory, 9 different individual goal kickers. This man on screen, Jacob Gilby, ended up with 3. Such a clever player, isn't he? And he's always a hard man to handle and gets value for money from his possessions. Yeah,
and he's the type of guy who's going to always draw one of the better defenders from opposition lineups and free up the likes of Boscott and Karen Ewer and these guys to kick the goals. So in the end, it was Lauderdale 15-14, 104 defeating Launceston 10-11-71. They're now zipping 2 at Launceston after losing to Glenorchy last week. And just the 4 goal kickers for Launceston. Mitch Thorpe kicked 4, Tim Bristow kicked 2, as did Joby Harper, and Toby Lucas kicked 1 also. For Lauderdale, Matt Elliott kicked 4.
Impressive.
He was fantastic today. Jacob Gilby kicked his 3, as we've mentioned. Henry Kerr-Newer kicked 2. Alex Saunders kicked 1 early, as did Reece Sutton. Josh McGuinness also kicked a long bomb. Trupp kicked 1 also. And I think that rounds out the Lauderdale
Sammy
goal
Siggins,
kickers.
you mentioned, yeah. Lauderdale, no doubt, are going to be one of the teams to beat this season. We've seen enough already. They've still got a lot of upside left in this. But I'm interested to see if we came back at the end of the year and watched the same two teams meet, where a lot of these young Lonnie players would be at. Because I saw enough today that if they get 10 or so games into a few of these boys, they're going to be quality players, I reckon.
Yeah, it was a good opportunity for someone like Tuttle to play on Gilby, and I didn't think he was disgraced today. Miller Hodge looked a little bit better down back for mine. They had Boyd, who's new at this level. James Gillow is a player that they've got to actually. He's someone that can rise to the next level for mine. Tyrrell I put in that class. Love the work of Joby Harper today. Particularly early, I thought he's solid. Bristow's only going to get better. We saw some of the creativity that Casey Brown's got on occasion. So Vandervelde always does the job for them. Ethan Conway, I thought, was pretty good early for them, boys in particular. So it was a young team today, and the coach was really dominant in that first half. But from a Lauderdale perspective, you mentioned Matt Elliott. He was the find out of the game for mine today. 4 goals. He was creative with his hands on occasions. He just lead up and presents, and he looks like a predictable footballer to play with if he's a teammate.
Yeah, a really, really good game of footy really down here at SkyBus Oval. Lauderdale take the chocolates, and as I often like to do on the stream, I like to throw someone under the bus and ask for a 3-2-1, and famously Brent Costello just gave the 3-1. What have you got for us, Chris Rowbottom?
I think it's pretty hard to go past that man that Brownie just mentioned. I think, I'll start with my 1.
Yep, that's the traditional.
We always do it differently. Sometimes we started with a 2.
Yeah, probably the way to go about it. I thought Bryce Walsh was really, really good. He worked his way into the game. He was hard around the contest as always. He got on the scoreboard, kicked a goal. As he so often does, just was the engine room for Lauderdale today. He gets my 1 vote. 2 votes, I thought Reece Sutton played a fantastic game on the outside. We don't take stats here, but I reckon he would have had 25 to 30 possessions and really didn't mess it up a whole heap. But I thought my 3 went to that man, Matt Elliott, the find of the game. As Cam Brown said, he was a real headache up forward and really split the game open when it needed to be split open.
Well done. And look, you still think there's some upside for this footy club too. We saw Ben McGuinness, who hasn't, from what we hear, been on the track too much in the off-season, so they'll get him back throughout the year. There was a couple of late withdrawals today in Robbie Manus, Mitch Anderton. So there's 3 players that are definitely going to be in their top 22. And you're going to get injuries throughout a footy season, so you need a squad of 30 plus, I would have thought, at this level, Damo. So I like what they did today, Lauderdale. As I said, they weren't at their best, but they had some busy players. I was impressed today with Josh Williams. You mentioned him throughout the call. Ro, I reckon he just needs a bit of confidence and continuity, and he should have a really big season. Really liked the work of Sutton, as you mentioned. Just worked his way into the game. So, they're tracking early stages in the competition, but they're tracking, you would have thought, to give themselves every possible chance to go deep into the finals. But Launceston, for mine, last week and again this week, their effort was there. You can see what Mitch Thorpe is trying to do. They haven't got a lot of height in this team, but they're a young team, and they're making their way at this level. And they just need some games and continuity, as you mentioned, Gilly, and I think they'll improve as the season goes on. They get another road trip next week against North Hobart, which in their eyes would be a winnable game, I would think, Rowie, and from a Lauderdale perspective, they're back at home against the Tigers, so an opportunity for them to go 3-0, albeit the Tigers will be keen to get a win.
I just want to put it on the record too that Joby Harper's really stiff to miss out
I
on
was actually going to let that slide just because you did give the full complement
we
of
always
votes.
Can you take a vote off someone?
No,
we always do something different in the stream.
Joby Harper just,
You can revoke one.
We
just give 2
Can
ones.
I give half a vote each?
Yep.
Do anything.
We make it up.
Brent Costello created that, didn't he?
With a 3-1.
And couldn't find a second best.
Which is bizarre. Yeah. If you can find the third best and the best, you should be able to find a second best, but hey, masters the beat of his own drum. It's been a pleasure bringing this one live to you from down at SkyBus Oval. 2 from 2 go Lauderdale, and round 2 of Bupa TSL action continues. The game tonight over at KG5. Glenorchy taking on North Hobart. Follow all the action across TSL social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and also the TSL app. Thanks for joining us here. Lauderdale, a big win. They've just trumped Launceston, who were plucky and pretty darn good. Stay with us. Next week, we're actually off to, I think we're at Blunston Arena, and it's going to be Clarence and Glenorchy, which will be a fascinating clash. Bye for now.